Hello, and thanks for tuning in this evening. My name is Darce. As some of you may already know, I am Cap MMA's virtual assistant. Our hosts are currently sending out invitations as our team gathers. During this time, feel free to submit your mic requests and send out invites of your own. Once the guys get back in screen, they'll get you approved. Tonight's feature is the On Topic MMA show, a space for discussing mixed martial arts' most recent headlines and controversies. We'll open up with the UFC 300 main event announcement and surrounding headlines leading into a review of UFC 298, followed by this week's fight announcements. After that, the guys will discuss the past week in MMA news and headlines. Remember, the entire space is open mic by system of raised hands. We encourage everyone to have a voice. Thank you for your patience while we finish setting up. This show is presented by CapMMA.com, the best place to get MMA moneyline odds. What's happening, bud?
What's going on?
You today. What you got? How you like that UFC 298 card, bud?
It was great.
Yeah.
I would say betting wise, I didn't miss a bet. I was perfect, which was awesome. And
Nice.
in terms of the card, I enjoyed the card as a spectator. And as a fan on like an emotional standpoint, I was pretty cool with absolutely everything. Main event was pretty shocking, but hey, he's dangerous, so.
I'll be honest. I've always faded Volk, and he always gets me. So finally, I was like, "Fuck it, I'm not fading him." Even though early on I had picked Ilya, and that motherfucker got me again, bro.
Yeah.
I
Whenever
switched
we
and was
start
like,
talking that card and we talk that fight, I'm gonna go not really go in on it, but yeah, we'll talk.
yeah, I switched sides on that one, and man, it would, I paid for it. Man, so a couple big announcements, but we're gonna save those for after the review. But let's a little bit of a hot topic here. Leon Edwards was offered 3 fights to headline UFC 300, and none of them were Bilal Muhammad. Man,
I'm shocked.
I'm not.
I'm saddened though. I think it is complete bullshit. He wasn't one of the 3.
What?
I think it's bullshit that he wasn't one of the 3.
Bilal Muhammad?
Yeah, he should have been one of the 3 that was offered for Leon to fight.
But why?
Because he's got the streak. It's the only guy that's beat him. It's just got to happen. What fucking? I don't know why it's that goddamn hard.
Are you a fan of him?
No, I just think he deserves a shot, and you've talked about it too much, so fucking do it already.
Well, I mean, I understand why it is not UFC 300 headliner. Like, I'm not trying to be a dick, but I do understand why the UFC can't headline that card. Like, I'm not trying to be an ass. I understand why the UFC couldn't headline 300 with that card. Man, last week it let me pin tweets as I was, because I got a bunch of tweets I can pin with like Leon's reaction and shit, but it won't let me pin any of them again this week. Why the fuck does it do that?
I was just so interested in just seeing how in the heck did Hamza Chimaev get a jump over Bilal. Like, interesting. I mean, you can make the argument for at least Islam or maybe Shavkat, but really, I mean, no disrespect to Hamza, but I guess
Islam's not even a welterweight. What are we talking about?
But I mean, bro's a champion. Sure, you can make the argument too. But I guess I mean,
Didn't there
I
see
mean,
rumors
trust me, I
today?
understand because Hamzat's not a welterweight either, but he'll make that cut if it's for a title. I guarantee.
yeah.
So, what's your guess on what the list was, Andrew? Like, what's the guess on what the list is?
Oh no.
If it wasn't him, okay, it had to be Hamzat.
All right, I'm not interrupting you. It's not letting me pin tweets again, so I'm gonna throw them in the comments. If anybody sees them in the comments and wants to pin them up to the Tron, man, much appreciated. Anyways, what's your list? Who you think it was, Andrew?
I don't know, bro. I don't know. I know Hamzat's definitely one of the three.
Chimaev,
Shavkat.
Shavkat.
Oh yeah, Shavkat for sure. Okay.
Yeah,
And Makhachev.
yeah, that was my list. That's actually my list in order. Is that it was probably Chimaev, Shavkat, Islam. It may have been Chimaev, Islam, Shavkat. My only problem with believing that is I have a hard time believing that Shavkat would have turned down the title fight. He makes sense that they would have offered it to him. Like, people would have wanted to see, and it could really build the star having that undefeated guy win on 300. It could really they could propel him from there.
He's injured, bro.
I don't think he would have
Is
turned
he
it down.
injured?
Yeah.
What's his injury?
He got injured in the fight. He broke something. Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I don't know how to pin
He
any
said
of
it
that
himself.
shit. I tried.
Yeah,
I don't know. This is the first time I've heard that, to be honest with you.
Are you
yeah.
serious?
Yeah. Did I?
I don't at all doubt you, but yes.
Andrew's right. He got hurt against Wonderboy, or at least
Yeah,
he
it
went.
sounds
Like,
familiar. I can't remember what it was.
He said it like in the post-fight interview. He's like, "Yeah, I did this in the first round or some shit."
He had a broken foot or something like that.
Oh, really? Shit, I don't even.
Yeah, it may have been an ankle or something.
That was
I don't know.
Colby who broke his foot in the first round.
Yeah, Colby broke. Okay, but Shavkat says something, bro.
Yeah, he couldn't punch.
Because when Colby was in the octagon post-fight interview, he said, "I'm not going to make excuses. It is what it is." He didn't point towards his injury, but
So
Shavkat did.
I did put the comment up where the Shamo says that I can confirm Bilal Muhammad was not one of the 3 fights offered to Leon Edward at UFC 300. He was the guy who broke that. I also commented where Bilal posted, "I would fight Leon next week. I'm always ready." And then shortly after that, Bilal posted a thing how they stepped in on short notice before. So, man, it's pretty confirmed Bilal did not get that call, whether you agree with it or not. Zabets, go ahead.
Hey, first of all, I gotta say, what up, Joe? What up, Drew?
What up, Za?
What up, everyone?
What's going on?
Back to this Bohal. I'm kind of glad he didn't get that call up because he just tried to force that situation. And yeah, that's it.
I mean, I don't blame him. I definitely don't blame him for trying now because he's definitely starting to understand how the game works. That's why he's kind of leaned into that heel thing a little bit. And that's why he's putting out a lot of content on social media. Like, I get it. He's kind of learning how to play the game. But yeah, it's just, I get it. For 300, it makes sense. I understand. If it's not 300, I mean,
301, he can headline. I'm being honest. 301, he can headline.
Yeah, like it's one of those things where it's like if they gave him the title shot, I'd be like, all right, I get it. Like, I understand.
So I think that fight, and I have been saying this all along, I believe that fight is destined for Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. I believe that with all my heart, bro.
When's the next Saudi Arabia card?
June 22nd in Riyadh.
You said June 22nd?
Yeah, and the main event for that, or a massive co-main, was leaked for that card.
So 302. Interesting.
And it was fucking leaked. It's I'm saving it for announcements, but man,
I got one more thing to say.
Yeah, what you got?
and it's kind of a question for you too. Like for 300,
Oof.
I think that's the most stacked card thus far in my in the last 10 years of watching UFC. And what's your thoughts on that? Like, how can Bilal is gonna be hard for him to kill on that
Ooh.
stacked ass card. Like, you got the prelims are even stacked. You know?
Well, yeah. So that's my yeah. Like it. You can at least argue that AP versus Jamal Hill will have as much hype, not as traction on social media, but it will gain the same hype as Justin versus Holloway, right? Like it will gain that hype. It will match that hype. At least having them both on the same card, it'll definitely match that. I don't think Bilal Leon matches that feature fight. You get what I'm saying? Like I don't feel like it makes the cut. So, and I feel like what you're saying, I don't feel like it's big enough to headline the card. Outside of that, my comments on 300 is it's the best card maybe ever. Like, I mean, I know there's been some huge cards and I can't think of them all off my head, and that wasn't my topic. So, like, I didn't research it to really think about it. But realistically, if you're talking early prelim opener all the way to main event, there has never been a card so decorated that I can remember, except, man, you'd have to think of the triple fight cards, the triple title fight cards. Daniel, go ahead.
I saw a tweet today saying possibly Shavkat will get the title shot over Balil. I don't know if that's probably just a fake news, but honestly, I like either way. I like Shavkat.
I would not be surprised in the least bit.
Same here.
So I need to say this. I know we always talk about and laugh about how our devices listen to us. I have enabled the microphone on my computer um, for various reasons, and I use AI a lot on my computer. And yeah, like I'm turning my microphone off right now. So I said, man, you'd have to think of UFC title fights or UFC cards with 3 title fights. I just said that. I haven't said that ever before. I swear to God, strike me dead if I'm lying. I went to my fucking computer and typed in UFC, and I did not complete events, and it auto-filled events with 3 title fights. These motherfuckers are definitely listening to everything we say. Anyway, so those would probably be the only ones that can rival that. So they're saying 245 had
245
it.
was 261 was good. I like 261.
245. Who was 245? That was Max, or that was Colby and Usman.
Colby Usman won.
Yep. And then Volkanovski and Holloway, right?
Yeah,
And
and there was one more. Was
Amanda
that?
and Jermaine Durandamy.
Oh, fuck! I
Um,
forgot about that.
but head to toe, there's no way people like Bobby Green and Jim Miller and Jessica Andrade were on the early prelims. So, I mean, like, that's going to be the problem. When you're talking head to toe, UFC 214,
Oh,
John
214 was
Jones
good.
versus DC rematch, which was a massive card. Main
Joe,
card, like, actual main card, you could probably find some that rival it, but head to toe, just no way. Andrew, what you got?
bro, check this out. So I'm looking at like the card itself right now. And if you look at, just overall like all the things together, name value, importance of fight, ranking, stuff like that. If you consider all of that together, right? The worst fight on this card is Sadiq Yusuf and Diego Lopez. The
And
worst.
it's so bad. It's not a bad fight. That's a great fight. I'm
That is
being
a
honest.
phenomenal fight. Like
But
everyone's gonna fucking
it
love
is
that fight.
so far off kilter with everything else on the card. It will be called trash and people will say it does not deserve to be on the card, bro. It's
Oh no,
surround.
not when the fight starts. I
No, no, no. I'm
disagree,
saying
bro.
in the lead up because people always got to be negative. It's going to be the Andrade fight and the Yusuf fight don't deserve to be on this card. You're going to hear that shit because
Oh, they're
people
nuts.
have to go toxic and they want to hate UFC 300. Bro, Bobby Green, Jim Miller, Marina Rodriguez, Jessica Andrade, Sadiq Yusuf, and Diego Lopez are ideally the early prelims.
Bro, okay, so they do the same thing with pay-per-views all the time, right? They always try to book fights that will be either absolute bangers or with finishes, right? If you look at this card, every single fight can be finished. There's a reason why these fights are put on this card. So when you look at Yusuf and Lopez, there can possibly be a finish. They go at it. Jessica Andrade, Marina Rodriguez, they're both stand-up fighters. They're gonna go at it. Like there's a reason why all these fighters are on this card.
Yeah, so the only two I feel like, well, I should say three that I feel like are locked overs on this card. And bro, when I'm saying only two, maybe three, like think about that. Bobby Green, Jim Miller is an over. I'm taking the over on that. No
Yeah, it'll be
question
free.
about it.
It'll be chalked as fuck, but yeah.
Kelvin Cater, Aljamain Sterling, taking
That's a
the over.
lock. Yep.
Whaley versus Yan Xiaonan. 3-leg, bro. Those are the only overs I see on the card. And the crazy shit is, I expect all of those to be such good fights. I still want to see every one of them. Like, I can't wait to see Bobby Green and Jim Miller beat each other up for 3 rounds. I can't fucking wait to see the Whaley versus Yan Xiaonan fight. That's not a fight where I need a finish. That's a fight where bro, I know I'm older than you. Did you play Street Fighter as a kid?
Me?
Yeah.
I
It wasn't
did a
really my
million
thing.
times.
I played
I,
I
Mortal
hope
Kombat.
so.
I did
Mortal
I
arcade
I
Kombat.
feel like
at a gas station.
that fight is gonna have so much pop and so much speed and so much volume between the two of them. It's gonna have Street Fighter vibes. I swear to God, like I'm not being like trying to over express it. Like when I look at that fight, I'm really like, man, that is some Street Fighter shit right there. I
That's
can't
the
fucking
one
wait.
fight though where the over's not guaranteed because
The
All of
over
these
two
fights are
five
not
is.
guaranteed. All of
over
The
these
two
fights are
over
five
not.
two
maybe.
five is. The
Yeah.
over 2-5
But
is.
it's probably gonna be set at like 3.5 or four and a
It's gonna
half.
be set at 4.5, but I'll take the alt. I'll take the over 2.5 on all 3 of those on a parlay. I tell you that.
Yeah. I was about to say because Zhang's got way too much power, bro. She could easily put Yan out. So I
I
wouldn't
agree.
say I wouldn't take that over 4.5 necessarily.
Shit.
No, 2.5. Be clean though. Cade, what's happening, bud?
What's up, guys?
Good to
What's up,
see you,
bud?
bud. I know you've been a little busy lately. We didn't really catch up with you last week too much. How was the trip out there?
It was good, man. It was really good. I had a fun time. Met a lot of cool people. And fuck, for any of you going to the UFC events, bro, VIP is like the only way, bro, because that food is off the hook. I
Yeah,
kid you not. All you can drink too, bro. Liquor, beer, don't matter, bro. I had like 13 beers.
yeah, fucking VIP is dope. You did it through On Location?
Yeah, it was I think that's what it was. I mean,
Yep,
pretty
that's who
much
does it.
everything was included.
Cade,
It
what
was
kind of food
dope.
was it?
It was like they had chicken sliders, like roasted chicken sliders. It was presented by Jack Daniels, so they had tacos, shrimp tacos,
Oh, gotcha.
calzones. And then like after like 30 minutes, they switched it out, and then it was like, bro, anything, chicken sandwiches. It was a bunch of different shit. Just
That's
it
dope,
was
bud.
ridiculous.
That's dope. You're gonna have to
So
get
that's
me to one of
exactly
them
what you
events.
get when you go to the Apex. Not the same exact food, but like exactly what he explained. That's what you get when you go to the Apex.
Yeah, the Apex is all VIP. Like that's clear until they get them extra 2,000 seats in. But even then, it's still VIP. Kate, I know there's some dudes in here gonna be asking you other shit, but you just got to get me into one of them things. Let me be the dude who carries your camera or something. You know what I mean? Like this is my tech guy. I just want to get in. I don't Fuck the rest. All right, let's kind of run this card down. I know we're diverted over to 300 a little bit. But let's chop that off real quick, and we're 20 minutes into this. Let's look at UFC 298. You want to go bottom to top or top to bottom, Andrew? Top to bottom makes more sense, I think.
Yeah, do top to bottom.
All right, so Ilya Topuria knocked out Alexander Volkanovski in the second round. Some notes worth noting on that fight. Ilya cleared $432,000 with his $50K bonus, his $32K in compliance, and $350 in pay. That does not include any bonuses that were not listed in contract or any type of pay-per-view points. And as far as the injury report or mandatory suspensions, Ilya got 7 days off for mandatory tests. California gives everybody 7 days. Nobody on the card did not get at least 7 days. Alex got 45 days off, 30 days, no exception for the knockout, or 40 suspended 45 days with 30-day no exception for knockout. So, yeah, man, it was expected. And then I switched my pickup, and I'm like, nah, Volkanovski's easiest fight on the card, blah, 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 blah. And I went with that for the last week. I'm glad as fuck I didn't bet Alex. I know better than to fade myself when I flop. Just flop and don't put your money on it. But damn, I didn't think it would go down like that quick. I thought if it happened, I thought it would be in the third, late in the third or in the fourth after. I mean, I know Alex has got a great tank, but everybody shows wear. And I just thought Ilya, just age alone, I thought he would look much, much fresher than Volkanovski would have did late into the fight.
I think Volk looked good, man.
Yeah, I did too.
I mean, up until he got caught, obviously.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. And I expected Volk to look really good, and I thought even if Ilya did get it, bro, it would be later in the fight. Like I thought it would just be one of them things where Alex is starting to get older. He's wearing down, bro. There's just no way around it. I thought maybe Topuria would have the edge actually going into the later rounds, despite the fact that he hasn't had to do it. But shit, man, he took care of it before that was a question. Underground, Rhino, I ain't heard from you tonight. What's up, bud? Go ahead.
Well, I thank you for letting me cut in line on those two guys, but all I had to say is that was my earliest bet that I did make exactly when it first was announced. So I got them at the plus 155, and I put 3.5 units on them. But I was completely shaken like a leaf at the fight time because I didn't like how Taporia acted like a cocky, wannabe gangster Conor McGregor type. And I was kind of hoping he would get his ass kicked and I'd lose everything. But it ended up being sad and good. Like someone gave me flowers when I didn't want to really see that.
Great fucking bet, bro. Great bet. I'm very turned off by Ilya now because of all this Conor McGregor talk. I mean, I know we kind of commented on the tattoos and all the shit last week that somebody else had pointed out, but that didn't make me be like, nah. But the fact that that's going to be his thing now, man, I don't want to hear it. Go make some real beefs out there. Go fucking fight Sean O'Malley. Go fucking do something, man. Now I got to hear him talk about Conor McGregor in Spain. And I'll be honest, I'd rather, and you guys know me, I'd rather turn the TV off than have to see him talk about Conor McGregor. Like, I'll just fuck it. I do not want to hear it. Zabets, go ahead.
I'm trying to keep this quick. All right, so a couple things. First, it's kind of sad to see Volkanovski's decline happen in front of our eyes. 2 knockouts in a row. And then the second thing is only 350,000 for Topuria winning. Come on.
Yeah, the crazy shit is none of it is listed as bonus either. So I'm sure that it's actually like 700 or something. Um, but he might have got points, and the reason I say he might have got pay-per-view points is the only fight on the whole card with no win bonuses is the main event. So there's a good chance they both got points. I don't think Elia would have got him if he lost, but I've had this tried to have this talk before and no one actually knows, and we've never interviewed a champion, like, so I guess I never have thought to ask this, but if I understand it right, the defending champ gets points. If you beat him, you also get points. If you do not, then clearly you do not get points. But your
I thought
win.
if you do a title fight, it's like an automatic 500K.
Nope, he got 300, and then Volkanovski
350. He got 350.
Volk got 750 though.
Yeah, yeah. And you would think Volk is in the millions. And I know if Volk won, he would have got I know he would have got a lot more. Like he would have doubled that and been at 1.5 million. But I would have assumed that Volk would have been at that anyways. Like I would have assumed he would have been at $1 million, to be honest. Like probably not much over that, but just shit. All the defenses he's had and everything, I assumed he'd be at $1 million. So I just shared the tweet of the guy who it's in the comments of the actual pay list. I don't know the order. I'm trying to just in the order I spotted it. Connor J, go ahead.
Uh, yeah, I picked Volk going into the fight. I was pretty high on him, but I mean it sucks to see him going out like that. He's one of my favorite fighters. He's an all time great, but you got to give it up to Ilya. He's a monster. Only 27, crazy power, great boxing, great grappling. He's gonna be tough to beat. But I agree with Joe. Him calling out Connor, I like everybody does that, but that's just so lame. Connor is closer to fighting at heavyweight than he is at fucking 45. There's just no way that fight's gonna happen.
That man would die trying to make 145 right now.
You have to cut off a fucking
And
arm
I'm not
and a
even
leg.
joking.
Yeah. And I don't think you should fight O'Malley either. Like Taporia said before the fight, and I think he maybe even said it after. Like he's not fighting Yair, he's not fighting Max. Ortega makes sense because Ortega barely fights, but he's not fighting any of those cats that Volk beat. It's like, dude, you haven't beat them. Just because Volk beat them doesn't mean that you shouldn't have to. I think he should go out there and fight the next guys in. Like, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, shout out to Taporia. He's a great fighter. It's gonna be tough to beat that guy.
100% agree. 100% agree. I did allude to you guys that before I was on Volkanovski, I said to you guys, I think we could see him BJ Penn. I'm sorry, Andrew. I'm sorry. I think we could see him BJ Penn trying to reclaim something that he's never gonna get back.
Nope. You have to rename that shit. Nope. Tony Ferguson. Nope. It's official. He's
Tony
tied.
was never a champ.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
Daniel, go ahead.
Well, we all saw it. I mean, you said so yourself, but watch the countdown. Volk was just, he was drinking, he was depressed. That's
Oh
when
yeah,
I
that
knew.
countdown told the story. Yeah,
Yeah, that's when
Daniel,
I
I
knew.
agree with you, and that's why I'm laughing at myself for being like, "Nope, Volk is the side," because I've been wrong on every one of his fucking fights. So I'm like, "Nope, it's Volk." But Daniel, I said it with you in this space, bro.
Yeah,
The countdown was like the clue. Like, listen, that dude is fucking done.
yes. And for
Yeah,
me, I've had depression twice. So from that factor, I knew what I saw. So,
takes one to know one.
yes, exactly. But
Takes
as
one to know
for
one.
Ilya, I mean, with his he has like several first round finishes. Honestly, my confidence was a first round finish, which almost happened, but he ended up taking him out in the second round. Overall, I'm just happy we have the first ever Georgian-born champion of the UFC.
You probably got family over there. Cade, what you got?
No,
Yeah, so I actually I saw because I know Magic MMA bet. Some of you guys know him, but I know he's got like ties to Poirier's team. He actually went to this UFC event because of that. Uh, and he was stating that everybody's saying that Topuria only made 350K. He made 3 million for this fight in total. And then also, I don't know where the Volk number came from, but I saw another site say that Volk cleared like 1.9 mil. But it like those numbers, and then what you guys are just talking about right now. That's why Dana tells everyone to shut the fuck up about fighter pay because they don't know shit. Because I really think that I think he might. I don't know. I feel like he might hook these fighters up because even the media was like, "Wait a second, you gave Dern and Lemos fight of the night. What about Whitaker and Paulo?" And then he looked down. He was like, "Nope, I didn't give those anything. But since you said something, I'll hook those guys up too." So
And
I
he
feel
will.
like
And he will.
yeah. So I feel like he really. I think he takes care of those types of guys and stuff like that. I think he really tries. But as for Volkanovski, though, I don't. It's not that I think he's done. I think age isn't on his side, so he's not what he used to be. But I thought Volk was looking pretty solid in there. I just think Ilya had his honestly, man, if you go back and watch the fight, like that was some of the most beautiful footwork I've seen in MMA. Everywhere Volk stepped, Ilya cut the cage off. Everywhere Volk went, Ilya was there to cut him off. And that's what ultimately led to that right hand because he cut the cage off. Volk threw a left, he missed, and then Ilya freaking hit him right down the pipe with the right, man. And then that was all she wrote. And I just think that his footwork, his speed, his athleticism, I mean, that kid is a problem. I really did think Volk was going to dust this kid, but like this kid's the real deal. And I don't know if anybody like at featherweight could beat him right now. Um, but that's just my opinion on. Sorry, I got a phone call. That's just my opinion on the situation, though. I just think that kid's legit, man. Like he really proved me wrong, and I'm okay to say that because at the end of the day, this is what happens in MMA. It's the kings get old, and a young lion comes in and kills the king, man. And the Ilya is only like 27 years old, bro. So he's probably gonna be the champion for a while.
I bet you Max gets a title shot at some point.
Yeah, but
They
you know
have
now
to. They
that
have to let him beat all those guys now. They have to
yeah, and I
let him
mean
beat all those.
you're looking at when you look at the situation. I understand what the UFC they needed to fill the 300 card, and Max Holloway and Gaethje makes like obviously it's a great fight for the fans to put on a type of card like that. But like when you look at it now, it's like the UFC's probably like, damn, well, we could have probably just done Holloway and Taporia and then done Gaethje and Islam at some point. But obviously they didn't know that this was going to be the outcome back then or whatever they made the fight. But they weren't basing it off that. But like looking at the results now, like you could have probably done a fight like that, and then Charles and Sarukian at 300, they get winner or something like that. But is what it is. I think he'll probably get the winner of Yair and fucking Ortega probably.
Yeah, that's probably likely. Connor J, wrap this one up.
Yeah, I just want to touch on how Volk looked. I agree with people's general assessment. I think he did look pretty good. I think Topuria was just better, but like in terms of like who Topuria is to fight next, I know a lot of immediate title shots are kind of thrown out nowadays. But if like anybody deserves one, it should be Volk. But the problem is like I think he needs to do like the Izzy treatment and sort of take like a year off or something. He's just been so active. He's now been knocked out twice in like a year. He needs to take a break. So it probably will be Max or I think Kate said the winner of Yair and Ortega. I maybe if Yair wins, I'd be cool with that. But Ortega, I'm a huge Brian fan, but him getting another title shot is just so crazy. But maybe when Volk heals up and he's ready, he can have it.
Oh, Brian's not getting a title shot. He hasn't won a fight in like 4 years.
His last one was against Korean Zombie.
He
And
fights
that
this
got him to
weekend.
fight against Volk. That's crazy.
He fights this weekend, no?
Yeah.
Daniel, 30 seconds.
I disagree. This was tweeted out, I think, 2 weeks before the fight. It said, "Who, Tilia, what would you give your first fight for?" And he said he made it clear Holloway and several other people, no, they had their chance. I don't see that happening.
Yeah, he'll have no fucking choice. He can take all that shit and blow it out his ass. He's gonna fight who the UFC tells him to fight. He's
You're
a
But
champ.
right.
Facts. Thank
why
you,
would he
Joe.
not? Why
He's
would
a
he not
fucking
want to fight
champion.
those guys
So
though?
let me tell you how this works. Let me tell you
Yeah, you're
exactly how
right.
this works. If you're a UFC champion and you don't want to fight the people they offer you, you will sit for 14 months. Then you will be forced to take a short notice fight that does not favor you, or they will strip you of the belt. That's how it works. That's how it
Facts,
always
Joe.
works.
He's
Facts. And
right.
you,
He's right.
before you get any say in that who you're not gonna fucking fight, defend your fucking belt first. Cause you know what?
Yeah, you
You don't
defend
get
your
to.
belt 2, 3 times against the guys they say take this fight, and you do it. You can start calling your shots,
Thank
or you
you.
step in, or if you step in and win it under extenuating circumstances, and you're a dog, and the UFC knows your reign as champion probably isn't going to be anything. I'll reference Michael
Yeah,
Bisping,
and I
right?
know you're trying to wrap it up, but like just to say this on your point, the guys that have been watching this sport since even when I was little, like they know this shit, bro. Like you do not get to sit here and say I'm not fighting that guy when you just won the fucking belt. No, you're gonna fight whoever the fuck they tell you to fight until you're worthy enough of saying I don't want to fight that guy.
Yeah, you want to be able to win the title and call your
It's the
shot.
same shit with Sean O'Malley, bro. Like when he
Yeah.
says stupid shit, it's like, brother, you haven't even defended your belt. Do that first before you say
Yeah,
anything.
I'm gonna touch base
Talking
on him
about
a
fighting
little later.
Taporia before his division. Come on, bro. Get the fuck out
Yeah,
of here.
I know. Like, even Dana has made it clear Marab is next. Like, what the fuck ever with that shit. All right. That's it for these two. We've only got about 20 more minutes, and we just burned 20 on them. I'm gonna throw a couple out there, and we'll take some takes, but try not to break them down. Try not to debate each other. Just give your takes for a couple of these so we can get through them. That's what I'll say. So what came next? I'll name off two of them, and everybody can throw their hand up to those. Robert Whitaker defeated Paulo Costa, and Ian Gary defeated Jeff Neal. Robert got the UD. Clearly, he got the UD. Ian got the split decision, and I for one believe that or feel that Jeff Neal got the shaft. And I know I always go hard for Seldom out or whatever, but I believe when I heard Cell's card, I was like, bro, get the fuck out of here. Like,
I'm
you
so
know,
glad you acknowledged that, bro, because I was fucking ready.
yeah. So, like, listen, you don't break the wall or whatever they say, but like, I got a couple sticks that I do kind of stand behind him. Like, I love John Jones. I'm never gonna break on defending him, even when you're right. I'll be like, "Fuck you, you're wrong." Sal D'Amato, I like Sal 98% of his cards. So like, yeah, it's a little bit of a shtick, but Sal got it wrong, bro. He got it wrong. Jeff Neal won that fight, and I'm not anti Ian. I know that I hate him. No. I promise it's not that, bro. Jeff won the fight.
So
He
let
won
me
that.
ask you something then, Joe, because you think he won the fight, but were you actually surprised when Ian Gary got the fucking decision?
No, I told Scott, Scott, my buddy.
Yeah.
Scott was here, and I told Scott, I said if Jeff Neal doesn't knock Ian Gary out cold, he loses his fight. That's that, and he said, and Scott just looked at me, he gets it, and he was just like, yeah, and I'm like, yeah, he knocks him out cold or he loses. There is there's no way they give him this fucking fight. So I wasn't surprised. Who had their hand up? Oh, I thought Cade went up first, but he's down. Connor J, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll touch on the two fights. Robert got the win. I thought he won. Not to start any debates, I was very high. It was a tough fight. I think Paulo actually fought a lot better than I thought he would. He looked a lot more polished and composed than he did in previous fights, but that's not really saying much because he fought against Marvin like an ape coming up at 205, and then he fought Luke Rockhold. So, but he did fight a lot better. But I thought Robert won pretty clean. Leads me to my question to anybody that, like, I just don't understand how people thought that Paulo was going to win before the fight, and then now after, it just didn't really make sense. And two, I disagree with Joe. I thought Gary won, but I thought it was very close. I can see why you thought Jeff won. I thought it was a very close fight, but I just had Ian Gary winning. And shout out to him calling out Colby. That would make me a huge fan if he beat the dog shit out of him. Let's go.
Daniel, go ahead.
Yeah, I too look forward to that fight with Kobe, even though I hate Ian Gary with every fiber of my being. Back to Whitaker, no, I had full confidence that he would get the decision victory. He's the forward champ for that reason. He survived that head kick and got the decision. Hell, I mean, if I actually bet money on that, I would have won some money because I did pick him by decision. Well, that deal comes soon enough with y'all's betting game. That's pretty much it.
Andrew, go ahead.
So this fight reminds me a lot of the Chris Curtis and Jack Hermanson fight. I've said this many times. I know it's not in the criteria, but I know it plays a fucking role, and it's shown in fights. Body language is a key factor when judging a decision, and when you've got a guy who is not touching the target because Ian Gary's, you can call it running, that's fine, like I can take that, but he's moving around really well, he's avoiding the punches. You could tell Jeff was getting frustrated, and you could see it visibly on his face, and it fucked with him. And I'm telling you, that shit plays a role. And Ian Gary he played his footwork well. He touched him. Jeff got him a couple times, but he point fought him to a win. And I mean, that's why I said it reminds me of the Chris Curtis Jack Hermanson fight, because it was pretty damn similar. Same body language, same fight style to win the fight. It was just a bunch of frustration building in. Gary,
Yes.
what's up, bro? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say. I think I'll be honest. In the second round specifically, I thought Jeff won the second round, and he didn't look like he thought he was winning the round. So I pick up what you're saying there. Gary, go ahead.
What's up, boys? I just thought it was crazy, like, as bad as Rob's chin seems to be against like good strikers, that he survived that, because I felt like that head kick would put out a lot of people. And I also think that shows like how much power Drickus has. Like, he has some Justin Gaethje shit going on where like his bone density is higher or something, because he hits like a truck for no apparent reason. Um, I don't really have any thoughts on the Neil and Gary fight, because honestly I don't remember shit about it. I would not be. I was like actually pretty interested in Gary when he first came, and I would be happy if he never fought on a pay-per-view again. I don't see him finishing anyone who's mildly dangerous.
No, they've got to lay him up all the way to the fucking finish line to get him there. And that's the truth. I'm going to let Connor close this out, but I do want to note that Robert Whitaker made $400,000. 100,000 of that was a win bonus, plus 21 in compliance. Paulo Costa made 250 plus 6 in compliance, plus fuck, I don't know. I know he got more money than that. It came out to more than that. He got something else. The funny thing I wanted to touch on real quick is Paulo Costa held out for a contract forever. We've already seen him make a base salary of $400,000. We've already seen it. I'm going to start getting back into this because I used to do the fighter pay all the time, and we got away from it. And it's been actually brought up in at least 4 consecutive Tuesday night spaces. So I'm going to try to find this every week. I'm certain that Paulo Costa has made $400,000 base salary. I assumed he would be at least $500,000 base salary. I was fucking jaw dropped when he wasn't. Ian Gary makes $55,000. He made 110 with his win bonus, which was double for his pay. And as far as the injury report goes, Rob got 180 days. Paulo got 180 days. Ian got 7 days, and Jeff got 7 days. Connor, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to touch on the two fights, just like my closing thoughts. I think the fight between Gary and Neil, it was just really close because there wasn't a lot like happening. They were just really choosing their strikes wisely, especially with Ian. Like Andrew said, good footwork. Uh, yeah, they were just. It was just a close fight. I can see it going both ways, but I just think that Gary edged it out, and I think Gary brought up how Drickus has like really good power and put Robert away. I think Robert, he is very durable, but he's just like chinny in like the weirdest ways. Like he'll be wobbled in like each one of his fights, but like a lot of people can't take him out. Like only Izzy and Drickus put him out at middleweight, but he's been rocked in other fights. And then like Wonderboy put him out at welterweight, but yeah, I think he's still pretty durable.
Rob's got a button, Connor. Like he literally has a
He
button. Like
does.
it's not even like he's not the type to get hit upside the head. Like I don't know, bro. It's the weirdest thing. He's got a button and it just turns him
Like
off.
the second Romero fight, he got rocked like 3 times in like the third or fourth round. He just couldn't get put away. But then like one, I think the Drickus fight, he kind of he did his blitz. He think he blitzed into like Drickus's jab, and that's what started the fight ending sequence. So that kind of compounded it. But yeah, Drickus does have a lot of power. But shout out to Rob, he looked great.
So, you made a comment earlier about how you didn't know how anybody could think Paulo would win. If you go back and watch his first round, um, Paulo's kicks looked fucking phenomenal. Uh, at a 7 out of 10 level. My problem is they've been at a 7 out of 10 level, and I'm like, all right, he's going to level up those kicks, and that's going to be the motherfucking difference. He didn't level them up. They're the same exact fucking kicks. Nothing changed. Like, the fuck have you been doing, guy? You post these videos running mountainside. Is that literally all this fucking guy does? And like, he beat my ass. Don't get me wrong, but like, absolutely zero improvement in the kicks, and um, I don't know, detrimental to my thought process. Connor, close it.
Yeah, the reason why I bring up because I was high on Robert and I guess low on Paulo. The reason why I brought up as to like after the fact why people picked Paulo is because I think people were not picking Paulo to win; they were picking Robert to lose. I think people were low on Robert. Joe, I think you like said that his days were over, and then
Oh, I
YB.
still think they are. I'm sorry.
That's sure. That's fair. And YB was saying he was going to get like YB was going crazy with his picks, but shout out to him because he got the Taporia fight uh, pretty down, except for first round. It was in the second, but he was saying Paulo's going to knock Rob out in the first. I just don't really understand what people saw in Paulo that made them think that he was just going to run through Robert when Robert's always been the better fighter. But yeah,
So those head kicks were close enough that I got excited a couple times in the first round, but I really just expected them to be leveled up from where they were. Those were the same head kicks I seen thrown before, and I
Well,
just
because we knew that. We knew Paulo was going to land strikes on Whitaker. We didn't know if he was actually going to be able to take it. That was the main
I thought the
question.
head kicks
And
though. Yeah,
it
that's
happened.
it.
It landed. He ate it, and he won the fight. More power
No,
to
he
him.
missed that. The good head kicks he missed. He missed
Wait,
them
I got a
altogether.
question. Doesn't isn't Paulo like a black belt in jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, he
That's
better
what they
be by
say.
now.
He doesn't fucking wrestle at all. He's a fucking idiot, dude.
Probably bought a fucking black
That's
belt
why he's entertaining. He definitely puts on
said
some entertaining fights.
and said, "Guys, I'm a black belt." I mean, he's fucking Paulo.
So is
To
Danielson.
throw this out
Danielson's a
there,
black belt too.
I don't know if you guys feel like Ilya is a big star, but Dana's talking about he at the press conference. One of the reporters asked him about an arena in Spain. Dana said, "How big?" He said, "They said 80,000 people." Dana said, "Indoor, outdoor." They said, "Indoor." Dana said, "Let's do it." So he thinks Ilya can pack 80,000 people into a fucking stadium in Spain. I don't feel like Ilya is that big of a star, but if you go listen to the presser, you can hear people outside chanting Ilya's name. Like dude's got a following. All right, so there was Marab beat Henry. We all knew that would happen. Great cap to everybody that was on Fluffy. I thought Roman would knock him out. Nope, not even. Great cap on Anthony Hernandez there. I know a bunch of you guys hit him. Great job. I really didn't see it, so I'll double down on that. Amanda Lemos, Mackenzie Dern, fight of the night. Good fight.
Yes.
Great
Dude,
fight.
this fight went not exactly how I said it would go, but I said the
But
reason why
exactly
I
how
wanted to
I
lay
said it
off of
would go.
betting her.
Looked like a heart-shaped hiney to me. I don't know what the fuck you guys were watching.
It went exactly how I said it would go, because I said it would go over, motherfuckers.
So I said the reason that I was going to lay off betting her was because she's dumb and because she would go to the ground with her instead of just striking with her. So what does she do? Round 2, she fucking beats the shit out of her on the feet. Mackenzie hits the ground all beaten up. And instead of going, no, stand up because I want to finish you. No, she does exactly what I fucking said she was going to do. And she goes down to the ground with her. And then she
She
got
was
caught
like,
a couple
okay, let's
times.
do that.
Yeah, like I'm just sitting here. I'm like, bro, this is why I didn't want to fucking bet her. I ended up betting her, but she did clearly win the fight. But I mean, yeah, that was the reason because I'm like, bro, she's so dumb. Like if she just fought smarter, she would be so fucking lethal, man.
So before I turn the mic over, what round did you give Mackenzie?
Round 3,
Because she always wins round 3. What?
dude. And don't get me wrong, like I will give her mad props for being a dog because she got her ass whooped and that fight almost should have been stopped, but she powered through. And then she comes out in the 3rd round with that high energy and fucking wins the round and like convincingly wins the round. So props to her for that.
Bro, she wins every 3rd round. I said it before the fight. Like, I said it in the space, I think last week or last Friday. I said, Mackenzie definitely wins the 3rd. Yeah, this is just what I thought. Connor J, go ahead.
Just to touch on those 3 fights, Marab looked really good aside from getting rocked in the first round. But he seems to not get rocked a lot, but he got rocked like almost similar to the Marlon Moraes fight, but recovers. He's got a good chin, and then he just pretty much went on to dominate that fight. I don't know what Sean O'Malley's talking about. Talk about fighting Ilya. Marab should be next. Shout out to Anthony Hernandez. He looked really good. He should probably fight a top 10 opponent. And then, yeah, I agree with Andrew. She, Amanda Lemos sold that fight. She could have finished her. I don't know why when fighters like get a knockdown and they're so clearly better on the feet that they don't tell the ref to stand them up. Like in one of my fights, was on the ground with somebody and then he was good on the ground, but then like I got up from his guard and I told the ref to get him up and then I finished him. It's just I don't know. I guess maybe they can do it to recover if they're tired or something, but yeah, it just seems kind of silly to me.
Gotcha. I think I've got how to say it down. Is it in Hugo? Did I say it right this time, bro?
In
No,
Fuego,
not
bro.
even close. But
God.
it's okay, man. It's all right.
But
Hey, what's
listen, I say a lot of fighters' names wrong all the time, and I hear them said 100 times, man. I'll get it right eventually, bro. It's
what's
nice.
up?
It's nice to
What's
see
up,
you in here
guys?
tonight, bro. Go
What's
ahead.
up, man? Yeah, I bet on Lemos. I just wanted to make a comment. I may have been the only one. I scored that. I scored the fight a draw. Actually, I had McKenzie win in round 1, a 10-8 for Lemos in 2, and Dern in round 3. 1 was the decider, though, right? So that was just my take on it. But I'm glad it went the way it did.
So credit to you because we're gonna avoid the rabbit hole, but it was a 10-8. And if these fucking judges would read the goddamn criteria and fucking judge based on the fucking criteria, regardless of the other 2 rounds, round 2 was a 10-8 round.
Yeah, I didn't think it was close.
No, like they've never heard of a 10-7, even though within the fucking criteria, you have to get a 10-7 to get a 10-8. As shitty as that is, in MMA right now, in order to get a 10-8, you have to get what is actually written to be a 10-7 because judges just don't do what the criteria says, and I don't know why. And if one decided to be like, no, fuck that, I'm going to follow the criteria, people would be at the press conference go, this guy is fucking crazy. Dana White would go, that guy will never judge here again. Shit like that. But if you read the criteria, we would see 7-8 or 10-7s at least a couple times a month. Daniel, go
What?
ahead. No, go ahead, bud.
Well, I was
Hold
just
on.
gonna say, where do you guys think Dern goes from here? I mean, she's looked pretty bad last two fights. She's got to get out of the garage with her boyfriend and train somewhere. I get it, but what's
She's
she gonna do
single.
next?
Yeah,
She's
that's
going
her
to
problem,
Bellator.
bro. She's broke. She's literally fighting for money. Last time and this time, open and honest, been like, this time she didn't really get into it, but she has said flat out, he took her to the cleaners, bro. She's broke. So I think this one, we've been talking about their pay, like bringing it up each fight. I can tell you that she got $200K plus 11 plus 50, $261,000. California will tax the fuck out of her, but
That's
still good
half.
enough. Still good enough money to where she should be able to get into like a pretty good camp. And Andrew, I wanted to touch something. Like all these salaries are reported to CSAC, but there's a very good chance that the UFC understands how much these fucking fighters lose to taxes when they fight in California. And Dana White probably showed up in everybody's dressing room with a bag full of fucking cash, in my opinion.
Dude, there's a bunch too. Like, do you remember? I want to say it was an Australian card from maybe like a year ago, and John Makdessi had lost his fight, and he posted like how much he made, and he had made like 61 grand or something, and after like taxes and fees and all that shit, he only made like 29 grand, and I'm just like,
I
what?
think it was 17 grand. He said he
Oh,
got
it was so
17.
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. I remember that actually.
I remember seeing that and I'm going, bro, if I'm a fighter, I am never fucking fighting in Australia. Sorry, bro. That's insanity. Like, those taxes are insane.
Yeah, fuck that. And then you got to pay your taxes when you come back. Like, ain't that a bitch? Like, you still
Bruh.
got to pay taxes. You can't just bring that money here because you went and earned it, whatever state you lived in. So, like, I can explain it real quick. The city of Detroit has a city tax. It's a shithole, but they still have a city tax. If you work in the city of Detroit, you pay an extra income tax out of your check to the city of Detroit. If you live in the city of Detroit, but work outside of the city of Detroit, you still pay that tax to the city of Detroit. If you live in the suburbs but work in the city of Detroit, you still pay that tax to the city of Detroit. So the point is, when you move what you're doing tax bracket to tax bracket, but this was your income and you live in this zip code, it doesn't matter that California took an ass load of money from you. At the end of the year, you still have to report that money in your zip code. Like, that's the easiest way I can explain it. Like, I just feel like the UFC has to be in the business of making sure these fighters are taken care of way better than we're seeing. And fighters are tight-lipped about pay, most of them in the UFC. So it it's just got to be what it is. I'm gonna let everybody hop on. I'm just gonna throw out there if anybody wants to comment on the Zhang knockout or the Danny Barlow knockout. I told you guys to take them. That's cool. Oban, easy pick. We thought he would knock him out though. And then Miranda Maverick, go Team Maverick. We're Maverick in here all day. It just
Hey,
is what it
Oban's a
is.
fade. Oban is a fade moving forward.
Benefit, bro. It was just a matter of that Val was the bigger fade. And listen, I broke the strat, and I believe in the strat. But I told you guys, fuck that strat. Zhang was gonna finish that man in the first round, take the under, and he did. That was a man. I feel good about that pick. I seen that shit coming. Connor J, then Daniel Zai. I thought you were up and went down. If you want to get back at it before we close the card out, you can, bro. Connor J, go ahead.
I was just going to touch on what Mackenzie Dern should do next. I have no idea. I don't think she's going to get much better. She does not have good striking, and her wrestling is very bad. And but her grappling is really good. She shows some good grappling in this last fight, but it's just the problem is that she doesn't have any way to initiate it other than like pulling guard. So it's very matchup dependent on who she can be. I know she had good stand up against Angela Hill, but I feel like Angela Hill is just undersized in like every fight she had, and the power just overwhelmed her. So I'm not sure what she does next, but she probably needs to get to a legit gym and just start trying to get better because right now she's just so flawed in a lot of areas.
I agree with you, Connor, man. It's funny because I want to say it was like 3 years ago. We were having, not in this space, but like people in general, we were having this same conversation. We're like, oh my God, Mackenzie's got great grappling. If she can just learn to wrestle a little bit and get those takedowns and, just get her striking to, be, just average, you know what I mean? She could be a dangerous fighter. And here we are 3 years later saying the same fucking shit, bro. Like, it's so frustrating because it's like everyone wants her to be super good, but it's just she's plateaued. So it's like I almost want to say she's peaked, but she's still young and she can definitely go get to a new camp. I think she can still get better, but we'll see if she does.
So, just for the record, I was in here saying Mackenzie Dern fucking sucks. Her only tool is grappling, and she can't take anybody down. Zabets, go ahead.
Yo, you know what's crazy? I found out she's from Rhode Island. Like, what? Since when? But yeah, she's looking like she about to get a Bellator contract. But the only thing I had to say was that I guess that dude Oban or whatever, he only got paid $10,000 for a knockout win. That's it.
No
No, he
way.
got 10 top. No, he got 10 base, 10 for the win bonus, 4 for compliance pay. So I'm not saying it's, big pay, but he got 24 grand is what he walked with.
Oh, his opponent got 10 grand. My bad. He got knocked out and got 10 grand. My fault.
No, it
I
was a
thought the minimum
decision.
was 12 and 12.
It
It
was
was a
a it was
decision.
it was a decision. Val got 15 and he got 4 for his compliance pay. He got 19. Val was the lowest paid dude on the card. He brought home 19 grand.
Yeah, but I thought the minimum was 12 and 12, not 10 and 10. I thought they upped it.
It is. No. Are you talking about Zhang's opponent, Za?
No,
I'm
the
talking about
Oban.
anybody.
The
I
Nah.
Oban.
just said 10 and 10.
Oben went to decision with Val, and Val got 15 grand. But Zhang Mingyang knocked out Brenson Ribeiro, and Ribeiro got 10 grand plus 4 grand in compliance pay, so he only got 14 G's.
But
Maybe that's
why didn't he make 12 instead of 10?
I don't know because I haven't seen less than 12 in a long time.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking, because I'm like, wait a minute. I thought they changed that shit a while back. Like even the contender series guys and shit are getting 12 and 12 now.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, my fault. It was Barlow. The dude Barlow. But he's like
What?
Barlow and Josh Quinlan.
Quinlan got
Quinlan, yeah.
12 and 4. He got 12 and 4 in compliance.
Yeah, it's still low, but that's all without endorsements and stuff too. Like all the
No,
numbers
so
we're talking about.
compliance is the Venom endorsement. So when I say compliance pay, that's what Venom has to pay them for wearing Venom gear. So like everybody talks shit about how the UFC won't let them put anything on their shorts, but what the UFC actually did is super right on, and the way that will play out in the antitrust, I think that the UFC is going to have to give up more money in compliance pay, maybe, but it'll be evenly spread. So what the UFC did is said, yeah, we know our main event guys can make $250,000 or $500,000 in promotional pay, or a couple hundred or 100 grand a piece or whatever. But instead, they make Venom pay out 243 grand based on a program, so everybody gets pretty much an even share of that money. Like it's not even like, so like Andrea Lee got 11 and Miranda Maverick got 6, right? But Andrea Lee has way more fights in the promotion. So it's based on how many fights you have. It's and your time in the promotion. Like it's literally a seniority thing. Seniority gets more. And then like champion fights, or title fights, there's certain things that get you bumped way up on the scale, like certain criteria. But if there's no criteria and you're on the prelims, but you're Matt fucking Brown and you fought a million times, bro, they're giving you like 40 or 50 grand in compliance pay. And like, let's be honest, Matt Brown couldn't get 50 grand to put a logo on his shorts at this point. Like, I'm not being mean. He couldn't get it, right? Not where he's going to place on the card or the type of cards he's going to place. So, like, it's not a bad system. Daniel, take this home, and then we're going to kick it over to Darce for about 60 seconds, and then we're going to do fight announcements.
Yes, well, we pretty much covered everything, but I'll just add this. Have you ever heard of a prenup? Seriously. Not only that, I hope to God she uses her fight the night bonus to pay off what's left of the, what's the word, alimony?
No, see that? I'm not cutting you off, but what I will say is part of the problem with dating your coach or dating your fucking nutritionist or dating someone who's makes their whole life about your career is when you want to leave them, they have equal right basically to the money that you have brought in because they literally 50-50 in the laws, outside of the actual event, the actual fight, they base their whole life around you getting that money. So, like in a court of law, that's kind of how it's looked like. Like if a woman supports a man, right, and she helps him build a business, and then he leaves her, she still has right to that business, and vice versa. Like, or at least right to some money for that business because they put
I
everything
see.
they had into building it. When you date your fucking coach or you marry your fucking nutritionist, these are the problems you're going to have later when they become your exclusive coach or your exclusive nutritionist and they travel to these fights with you. And in your head, as the fighter, you're like, no, man, I took him all around the world. I took him to fucking Brazil. I don't know where she fought. I'm just throwing places out there, right? Like, I took him to Rhode Island. I took him to fucking Saudi Arabia. I took him to Fight Island. No, you didn't take him there. He was working. He was working to better your career and build the investment that is you and where you're going to go. So, in return, that's how the court's going to look at it. Like, people always look at the things they do as a gift and they never appreciate that what people give up in return, right? And I'm not defending the dude, and
That is
I'm
true.
just not throwing him under the bus. What I'm saying is if you give somebody your whole life in your mind, you wake up every day thinking about how to help them, you travel with them, even though you're in love with them, and even though you know you're married to them, you have given up essentially your ability to stand alone. And if it goes for any significant amount of time, like 10 years, now they don't even have a good skill set or a sharp skill set to enter the workforce. Like it's a fucking
Yeah,
shit dynamic, but
she
that's
pays
what
him. She pays him 4,000 a month in child support at this point.
I wasn't aware she married her coach. I was not aware
How
of
many
that. I
times have
thought
we
this was
said in this
some.
space that it's a terrible idea to date your fucking coaches?
Or
yeah,
marry
or to
or
let
marry
your
them.
boyfriend become one of your trainers. That's the
Yeah.
biggest trap. That's the biggest trap. He's not even your coach. He's your fucking full-time trainer. Like that's the biggest trap.
We saw it with Andrea Lee. I mean, she's a good fighter, but she has really
Yeah,
regressed, and Kelly is not helping that situation because she looked awful.
yeah. And now
Rose
now
Namajunas.
she has a kid with her former baby daddy.
Rose
The
I hate
the
to
Namajunas.
say
the,
it
the
like that.
Nazi.
Namajunas. Yeah, but like the problem is when she had like when Pat Barry was just a piece of what she did. She was great. When Pat Barry became all that she had, it's just not the same. It's just not the same. Um,
I'm afraid so.
it's just that simple. I would like to throw out there that on the early prelims and on the prelims, man, everybody below Junior Tafa, nobody broke like 50 grand. And then like Ian Gary, Kapulov, and they made less than 100 grand without their win bonus. Jeff Neal got like 108, but Andrea Lee got 70 and Miranda Maverick got 150 to open the card. Man, I just think that's a cool little thing to see there. Like,
How much did Miranda make?
150, 75 and 75 plus 6 for compliance, so 156.
She's making 75 and 75.
What do you mean by compliance?
Venom has to pay them sponsorship compliance pay. It's part of the program, the Venom deal. It's what I was just talking about. The more fights you have, the more money you make.
Oh, that's what you mean by
Yep.
compliance. Okay, thank
Yep. Yeah. Do you think that's low or high, Andrew?
Do I think what is? Oh, that's excess, dude. That's like excessively higher than I thought it would be. I mean, she's been a borderline like 15 ranked to unranked fighter her entire career, and then she's only been around for what, 3 years or so, 4 years maybe. I'm just shocked. Good for her, bro. Good for her. Like I'm
I would
happy
have
for her.
guessed.
I'm shocked.
You know, because I've done a bunch of these fighter pays, and I understand like just kind of how it works in like seniority with your guaranteed contracts and shit. I would have guessed 80 to 100, so I think it's right in there. The where I get a little teeter off is like Andrea Lee's only at 70, right? I'm still not exactly sure how it when you're losing, or when you come out of a losing contract, you negotiate down. You don't necessarily negotiate up. Your guarantee, like you have X amount of fights, you will get X amount of pay, does not change. But a lot of fighters are paid over that. But like Miranda's probably paid over that, right? But like if you come out of a losing contract, you sign a 3-fight deal with the UFC and you go 1 and 2, you're coming out of a losing contract when you need to renegotiate. And I know it does change terms. Man, I don't even think through the entire antitrust we will get to see exactly how all of that works. But we will keep getting a better idea. Okay, guys. I know most of you tune in all the time. We are live on YouTube, and pretty soon we will be live on several other platforms while we do this. Ideally, we'll be live on 6 to 7 platforms within inside of a couple of weeks here. Every time we're live here, so some things got to get a little pro. It's not like we're paying the bills, but we do have some little promotion. We got a 60-second thing here that's got to run. We do it halfway through the show, and this is our halfway point. So go ahead and just listen for 60 seconds. Don't leave. It'll be over in a minute.
Hey guys, it's Darce again. I just wanted to take a minute and remind you to visit our site capmma.com. Our odds board is connected to over 50 sports books. If a book is offering fight odds, CAP MMA will have them. Why go to Cap MMA for your odds, you may wonder? Well, there's a couple reasons. We have several quick visual markers to speed up what you're looking for. We highlight the best odds, the worst odds, line movements, and flips. While you're there, don't forget to check out our parlay calculator. It allows you to compare live odds at every book with a few simple clicks. Turn parlays to on and check the compare button. You might think you're getting the best returns for your money, but it never hurts to double check. We have live rankings, betting tools, external resource listings, and the most up-to-date headlines from the best news sources, and you'll never have to leave the board for any of it. Not to mention it's both free and ad-free. CapMMA.com.
Well, thanks for sticking around for that one. Eventually, I'll get a nice close put together and get it put together for all the other spaces too. I've been working on it. Ozzy, go ahead, and then I'm going to throw it over to Andrew for fight announcements.
Yeah, g'day, Joe. How are you, mate? So I just wanted to just cap on something you were just talking about with Miranda Maverick. Who is her manager? Because that bloke is earning every cent he gets. Because that is an unreal contract.
I don't think she has one.
What do you mean? She's negotiating that herself?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think Miranda has a manager. I could be
If
wrong
she
about
was
that.
if she was a lot hotter, I could explain it. But yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, good on her. Good on her. I mean, a
She's
lot of people
very
probably
smart. So, and I'm not just saying that because we've interviewed her. So, because we interviewed her, I have dug in on her. Miranda Maverick is a very intelligent person. I'll just leave it at that. I don't want to go off on a rant about it. She has schooling behind her. She has, you can just, if you dig on her and find some of the stuff she's wrote, she's very well articulated when she speaks. And she's a badass artist. Like, Miranda, I would not be surprised at all if I am 100% correct that she does not have a manager. I think she's one of the fighters who tells people you don't need a manager. Like,
that's
just
amazing. Because she
yeah.
keeps that extra 10% too, or in some cases, went up to 20%. So that's unreal. She's keeping that extra percentage of
Well,
her
I
purse.
agree with fighters that like you might need a low end manager to get you in the UFC, but once that contract is signed, you should part ways with him until you get to a certain or her until you get to a certain level. There's tier guarantees, and what happens to a lot of these people is they only get the fucking guarantee, but then they got to pay their manager. Well, you would have got the guarantee anyway, or he only gets you enough where you're making like an extra 5 or 7% so that he can collect his fee. Like, you didn't need that. You're paying more taxes. Fuck that person. So, like, I feel like you sometimes need a guy that can get you in, and then when you hit to the point where maybe you've been on 2 pay-per-view cards, even the prelims, but you're to the point where like your next contract's going to mean something. Fine, but I'm pretty sure she is one of those fighters.
Yeah, she's got a pickle business too. She's making
I
money
know.
on the pickle farm.
I
That's
know,
amazing.
and to be honest, I haven't ordered any yet, just because, dude, I'm not kidding. She opened her pickle business, and I'm like, I'm gonna order some of them. And I looked at my fridge. I have 5 kids, family of 7. I'm like, why the fuck do we have 6 jars of pickles? Like, I'm not. That really happened. And my wife's like, well, I'm like, you don't even fucking eat pickles. She's like, yeah, I know. So right now, I think we're down to 1 or 2 jars of pickles, and then I'm gonna order me a bundle of Miranda Mavericks pickles because I want to support her in that way. So I'll let you guys all know how they are. She's got some spicy ones I'm looking forward to trying. Okay, so it's fight announcements time. I know it's not a deep list, but that's on Andrew. And then I got one at the end that appears to be leaked. I didn't hold it back from giving it to Andrew. I got it right before the space opened. So Andrew, kick that shit off.
No, I changed my mind, man.
Fuck that.
All right, so we're gonna start this off with something fun. Okay, we had 2 scheduled fights. We had originally Shauna Bannon supposed to fight Stephanie Luciano, and then Josephine Knutson, or Knutson, was supposed to fight Julia Pilastri. Well, Bannon is now out, and Knutson is now out. So Stephanie Luciano will now be taking on Julia Pilastri at UFC Vegas 89 on March 23rd. How fucking awesome is that?
I just want one of them to pull out and have to be replaced. That's all I want. My year will be fucking complete. That's all I want.
I like when that happens because, I mean, this is the fight business. You don't fight, you don't make money. So the fact that they can keep the fights still together and it's not like super last minute, they still have like a training camp that they can do. I think that's awesome. Good for them.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I love that it's the business of keep it going. It's probably what makes me like the UFC so much is that they are so, like, when they have a short card or when shit don't work out for them, it's usually that they just run out of fucking time, but they try, right? That's my term for it because I don't work for them, so I'm a company fan. But it is one of my favorite features about, or favorite things about them as a promotion. So fuck it. Whether you like the fight or not, it's awesome that it's still on the card and that it's still going to happen.
I feel you. We're going to move on to UFC Atlantic City, March 30th. We have Pat Sabatini taking on the train, Nate Landwehr. I think that's another bad fight for Sabatini.
Yeah, I'm taking Nate all day, baby. I'm not even thinking about that shit. That is Nate all day.
I just don't think he's going to be able to hold him down for up to 15 minutes without getting hurt. I don't see it.
I would be surprised if he's able to even hold him down.
This
Nate's a
is just a
strong
bad
dude,
matchup for
bro.
him, bro.
Nate is a strong dude. And I just don't. Yeah. Fuck that.
Yeah, we're on the same page. So Sean Brady's out against.
Nate all the
Yeah,
way.
he's out of his fight with Vicente Luque. So stepping in, and this
Vicente's
is
never gonna get to fight.
no, he is gonna fight. He's
He's
just not gonna
gonna
fight Sean Brady.
retire before he fights again.
No, he does have a fight, but it's a very strange fight, or at least in my opinion. Vicente Luque is now going to be taking on Joaquin Buckley.
Man, that's a fun fight, though. I mean, Vicente is going to force Walking to engage. Said before his last fight that he knows he needs to engage. Man, that could be some fight of the night shit. If I'm
Do you
being
have the
honest,
rankings in front of you?
that's a
Vicente by submission.
badass fight.
Do you have the rankings in front of you, Joe?
Actually, CapMMA.com. The odds board is loading up. Oh, we're on the odds board. We are plugging, but we're not, guys. If you use our odds board, when you get there, it's a little thing, but give it about 15 seconds. It loads up with a whole bunch of live information. And then you can click rankings, and that shit's all live data. If you go check the UFC's website, this is what you will find. It is live fed. So, anyways, yeah, you asked me if I had up the rankings. What, 170?
Yeah, give me Vicente Luque because I feel like he's like that 10 or 11 range. I could be wrong.
Vicente Luque is 10,
Okay.
and that's because everybody got bumped down one. Brady, Thompson, Neal, Luque, because Ian Gary went up to number 6.
Okay, so here's my point, and let me ask you a genuine question. Do you honestly in your heart feel that Joaquin Buckley is a top 10 welterweight? Because the answer is no, in my opinion.
Yes.
Wow.
I think that the problem for me is that he's the 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 fighter, if that makes sense. And the guys that are in front of him are not necessarily all the guys that I think should be. Renat is 15. I feel like if in a world where Walking Buckley is 10, right? I feel like that would mean Renat should be in the top 10 and Wonder Boy should no longer be. I feel like Colby should not be in the top 10 anymore and Jack Della should. I feel like, that's pretty. I wouldn't bump anybody else out. But I feel like you would also have Kevin Holland and MVP, even if he loses, in my opinion, unless there's some crazy shit where it's not even close. Those guys are also, and maybe not 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 fighters, maybe 8, 9, 10 fighters, 8, 9, 10, 11 fighters.
So every single fighter that you just listed beats Joaquin Buckley. Every single one of them.
But I said they should all be right ahead of him.
Right, but you're saying that some of them shouldn't even be in the top 10 anymore.
Does Neil Magny beat Joaquin Buckley?
At this stage, probably not. He's older and slower.
Colby Covington beat Joaquin Buckley?
With ease.
I don't think so.
With absolute fucking ease.
Colby's foot wasn't broke. That's who Colby is now.
Colby would fucking ragdoll.
Spot on, Joe. Spot on.
Wonder Boy.
Wonder Boy would
might-
whoop his ass too, even right
he
now
might
at 39 years old.
he might point him. He might point him, but he's not whipping his ass. And I didn't say Gilbert should be taken out, so I'm not just picking on all the old guys. And Usman is number one. Man, I'll be honest. If I wrote the top 5 for the welterweights, it would probably be Leon. Remove Usman. Probably Leon, Shavkat, Renat, Bilal, Ian Gary. And then I don't know who would come after that, but like those are the guys that I think are the top right now. And if MVP, which is not a guy I consider a top UFC caliber fighter, but if he shows up and fucking starches the shit out of Kevin Holland or something, he should be put in that top 5 and given an opportunity before he ages out, in my opinion, too. So
what's Kevin Holland's ranking? Because we already saw what he did to fucking Buckley.
13.
Yeah, that's my point. There's no fucking way you can have Joaquin Buckley ranked ahead of fucking Kevin Holland. There's absolutely no way.
I mean, all right. I got no good argument for you.
Connor, go ahead, bro. You had your hand up. I'm sorry, man.
I was going to say, I knew someone had their hand up, but we kept going.
Yeah, I was just gonna speak on. It's unfortunate that the Sean Brady fight fell out because I like Sean. I think he's really good. But I think Buckley is a fun replacement. I don't know how far I would rank him in the rankings. I think there are a good decent amount of people that would beat him. Like I even think Michael Chiesa would beat him, and he's kind of been on the downward. But yeah, I think it's still a fun fight. I'm glad that Luke still has a fight because he's kind of had some bad luck recently, especially with the fucking brain bleed that he had.
Bro, I don't even want him to fight anymore because of that. Like,
Bro,
I don't either. I was sweating bullets watching him fight RDA, but he looked good in that one. He did a lot of wrestling, but still concerning going forward.
I said the name of everybody in the rankings except Michael Chiesa because he was just invisible to me, like he shouldn't be there. I'm sorry about that, guys. I mean, Joaquin Buckley should at least be ranked where Michael Chiesa is, but Michael's ahead of Renat, so that's not true. You know, Ilya's picture does not load, and that drives me fucking crazy, but it's not on our end.
Joe, did you say that Renat should be in the top 5?
yeah, that was the only one where I was like, what?
Yeah.
You had him like 2.
I don't.
Or am I tripping?
Maybe 3, I think.
What?
Yeah.
That doesn't make it better.
No thanks. We'll move on.
Why do you have him so high?
We're moving on. We can't keep harping on this shit. Just 2 more fight announcements.
I need to harp.
No. We have 2 more fight announcements. We have one announcement for the UFC event on April 27th. Unfortunately, Lando Venata is out. I don't know why this guy can't fucking get a fight, but he is out. So James Lawntop will now fight Gabe Green. Let's go.
Who? What? Say that. Did you just say let's go after you said Gabe fucking Green? Like,
yeah, man. Gang Green, bro.
Dana White over here. Fucking, if you don't know,
No,
now you know.
All right, we just have one more fight announcement. It's the big one. I'm sure we all want to talk about it at some point. UFC 300, the main event is going to be Alex Pereira and Jamal Hill for the light heavyweight title. Jamal Hill recently vacated his light heavyweight title because he got hurt. So then Alex Pereira won the title. And now he's defending it against the former champion.
All right. So I got a little heat on this one real quick before anybody gets on. So throw your hands up and we'll get you up after. So Dana admitted indirectly that the UFC was short on star power. He said scheduling 3 pay-per-views in a row like this, motherfucker, it's technically 4 in a row. And bitch, you do 14 in a row every year. What the fuck are you talking about? How you gonna tell me that shit's hectic when you're scheduling? Bitch, we knew 300 was coming since 200, motherfucker. Like, don't. I think he really thought that Connor would end up on 300, and when it didn't pan out, um, he really held out, is what I believe. I think he really thought that. He said, three in a row made scheduling difficulties. Jamal says he got the call one day before, and I did not note this, but someone said that AP got the call 2 days before. So it definitely was last minute. Ariel Hawani commented on it saying that fans are probably disappointed, not because this isn't a great fight, because it feels thrown together after you promised the greatest card ever. And, did what we all expected 300 to be, right? Like, I've been pumping this shit since 289. So what the fuck, right? Ariel also said that he can confirm that this was the 301 main event in Brazil 3 weeks later. And AP says he wants to defend on 301 3 weeks later, which means that he probably had plans to fight on that card. That's everything I have on it. I have a couple of bookmark tweets I'm going to post in the comments because, well, it won't let me fucking pin anything. So in the comments is the Cap MMA's post about the fight announcement. Shout out Connor J for using it in a video on his TikTok. I'm too old for that shit. I don't use it, but the video was pretty awesome. I seen it. Usman runs our TikTok over there. Man, anything like that, anything we can do to help you, if you're gonna use someone's stuff and you can use ours, bro, just let us know and we'll try to get it set up, man. Try to throw the love back everywhere we get it. So I posted up that one, and let me see if I got another bookmark for this one before I throw the mic over. No, I don't think that I do. So, Andrew is the host. It doesn't really matter whose hand went up first. Andrew goes first, and then he can call them out in the order he's seen them after that. Andrew, go ahead.
Yeah, this is, I mean, you touched on it extremely well. I think this is just one of those things where this wasn't the first option, probably wasn't the second, probably wasn't the third. This is probably like a fourth or fifth option. You could tell it's last minute. So I think given the circumstances, I'm happy with it. I understand everyone wanted it to be some crazy thing.
Leon was offered 3 different fights for 300 and accepted them all. They couldn't make them happen.
Yeah, and that's my point. Is just like it was just a bunch of unfortunate shit that went down, and like you said, they probably held out for Connor as long as they absolutely could. I think, given the circumstances, it's a pretty good main event. Especially the story behind it with Jamal coming back off of injury and stuff. And then if you just take a look at the rest of the card, and we've already touched on how fucking stacked it is. I think this is an amazing fight card, and I think 5 years from now we're not even going to be having the conversation of, oh yeah, do you remember when they botched the 300 main event? No. 5 years from now, we're going to be talking about, dude, UFC 300 was such a fantastic card. That main event was a fucking banger. And
I
then,
still talk about how they botched UFC 200. Fucking USADA, bitch ass motherfuckers.
but that's a completely different thing. You know what I mean? Like this is a
The
completely.
UFC signed USADA. Dumb motherfuckers. They know John Jones does cocaine. I don't know. Fuck them. I don't know what
And
they.
then you mentioned him wanting to fight 3 weeks later. I hate to say
Break
it, bro.
Izzy's record. Break Izzy's record.
Zero chance of that happening. The only way that would even be possible is if he went out there and starched Jamal in like a minute and was completely untouched. And I think the odds of that happening are pretty damn unlikely.
Second round.
I think he's going to be taking some damage, and I think there's zero shot he fights 3 weeks later. But that's okay. I mean, he stepped up for UFC 300. I think it'll be a great fight. I don't think there's any reason to complain, and I think everyone will enjoy the fucking card.
So I have a question.
What's
And
up?
me and you will go ahead with this real quick because everybody who has their hands up will probably want to comment on this. So I'll just go ahead and get it out of the way. So I'm curious. I know who Sweet Dreams is. I know. Um, but who did he knock out that makes us think he can knock out one of the most elite strikers on earth? I'm just I'm just asking who was the guy that we're like, oh yeah, bro, he can definitely beat up like maybe the most dangerous kickboxer in the past decade. Um, which means he's one hand and feet strikers, one of the most elite on the fucking planet. When did Jamal Hill become the guy that is just automatically going to take him apart? When the fuck did that happen?
So I feel like this is the same conversation we had about like people hopping rankings and without them having the fight competition, but you can just see the fucking talent. Like Islam. Islam got a fucking title shot off of Bobby Green. Why? Because it's fucking Islam and he has his fucking skills and it didn't matter who he fought, you could see it. Jamal Hill has power. That's what he has, and you can absolutely see it. Yeah, he doesn't have like the star power knockouts, but you could see the power in his hands. And if you've watched Alex Pereira lately, on top of him being 36 years of age, he's been knocked out cold by a middleweight in one fight, and he got rocked in the first time and when they first fought. And if there were about 10 or 15 more seconds left instead of the bell saving him, he probably would have been knocked out in that fight too. So if you take the fact that
So Jamal knocks Izzy out at 205?
he probably should.
I mean, he does or he doesn't. I'm asking.
He probably should. I would expect him to, but
Okay.
yeah, especially at this point. But yeah, I think that's what it is. I think he's got. I'm not saying he's going to knock AP out. I'm saying he 100% has the power, and AP also has a little bit of a chin, bro, or a chinny of a chin. I think he can. I think he can 100% get knocked out. Absolutely.
Quick question,
Get after it.
and then I still got my hand raised though. But without look
Yeah, both.
without looking at the Cap MMA odds board, who do you guys think is the favorite for that fight? Alex Pereira and Jamal Hill.
It's gonna be AP.
Yeah, AP for sure.
AP.
Like, give me a number, like a line.
AP minus 180 to 205 to open.
Oh, I don't know about.
Uh, AP latest KO finish round 3.
If it, I mean, I am sure there's a line out by. Dude, why don't you just check App MMA? I'm sure it's up.
All right, let's check it. I mean, yeah, check it out, check it out.
My guess would be like 150.
No, both you guys are
What
right.
date is 300?
Huh?
What's the date for 300?
April
Oh, here
13th.
it is. So I
I feel like
haven't
AP
looked
should be
yet.
like a minus 150.
164 on average, and that's already reporting at 20 books.
Okay. Okay.
Jamal is plus 129. Bro,
That's
listen, I'm not saying Jamal doesn't have the power if he can find the hook, right? Because let's be honest, that's all it is going to be against AP. You can figure out how to land your hook, or you can't. Um, I just feel like the assumption that he automatically can is the craziest shit I've ever heard. I expect AP to knock Jamal out in the second round, pretty much like he almost knocked Izzy out before Izzy countered with that great overhand. That wasn't Izzy playing. That wasn't Izzy doing the rope a dope. Izzy was getting pieced the fuck up and threw a haymaker and caught him. Like that's why they call it, a haymaker. Like that the term, like Izzy just threw that shit out of nowhere. It was a full Hail Mary, and like, yeah, I don't. Alex was starting to put it on Izzy too, and Izzy is a way better striker than Jamal Hill.
Are
No
you talking
one,
about before he got knocked out cold, bro? He set that up. That was.
no, he didn't. Go watch it. I watched it 5 times, bro. He was getting beat up. Go watch when he got knocked out. and then watch that. Everything is the same. He starts getting pieced up. He actually shells up and then just fucking throws, bro. It's not a
Dude,
trap.
he baited him into that shit. That's why he caught him with that.
No, baiting it would mean that he didn't really get touched before that, but he did. Go watch it.
All right, dude. I'm gonna let Za and Connor go, and then I will give like my analysis on this fight.
Then you close it out. I got you. Either or. Connor, go ahead.
Yeah, I think Ariel and pretty much everybody's analysis is correct. I think the UFC was kind of scrambling. I would have figured that they would have had this fight at UFC 301, especially it being in Brazil. That was what I thought was rumored and what they were going to do, but I guess not. I don't think AP is going to fight on that card 3 weeks later. I think he's going to beat Jamal, but I don't think he'll be ready to turn around that quick. I think the UFC probably would have. I know they didn't have in hindsight, they would have done this, but they probably were looking for a different fight. But in reality, if they would have just announced, like, this is the main event along with the Max and Justin fight, and then, like, the Young Xiaonan and Zhang Weili fight, like, if they would have done that all together, people would have been fine. But, like, them teasing the fans and stringing this along, having the fans anticipate what it could have been, and then this good fight, very good fight, but it's just sort of like a regular title fight. It's not too special, but it's still a good fight. It's gonna be a great card, but they kind of, yeah, it just wasn't what the fans thought they were gonna be, or it was gonna be based on how UFC and Dana was hyping it up and whatnot. But still a good fight.
I don't think Dana did it to be a prick. I just think what he thought was going to come together wouldn't come together.
I don't think so either. That's what I'm saying. In hindsight, they probably would have done it differently, but I think they really were trying to find the best fight that they could, and he said he was going to announce it on Saturday, and I think even up until probably that day that they had other fights in mind they were trying to get done, but then it just didn't. So this is what they landed on. And shout out to him because it's a good fight. I'm not hating on the fight. It's just I think the writing's on the wall that this is not the fight that they wanted to headline it.
No, absolutely not. It would have been a great co-main, though, to add. It would have been a marvelous co-main with the other fights that are on the card. Zabets, close this. Well, hand it over to Andrew to close out, but
I well appreciate you. First thing is, yeah, I wasn't really that much moved by the announcement of that main event, but the whole card kind of saves it, and it kind of meshes kind of decently well. But I wasn't moved by it that much. And then the last thing I gotta say is like AP, man, this dude fought like 7 times, won 2 different belts, all before Paulo Costa fought 1 time.
I think I seen that somewhere. Yo, quick shout out to CapMMA.com. I'm not saying it linked anything, but for the record, July 28th has not been announced as a UFC card. But Sportsbet, Patty Sportsbook, FanDuel, and Sportsbook by Betfair all list Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler for July 28th. Conor is about a 125 favorite, and Chandler is a plus 100 dog.
That's pretty funny that they put odds up for a fight that's not going to happen.
On a date that wasn't announced. That's not a year-end date. It's fucking really weird.
How about Chandler on the WWE yesterday, calling him out?
That was dope.
Yeah, I'm gonna touch on that in a minute. I could do it now. I mean, there's no
Yeah,
sense.
lead into it. Go ahead, bro.
So Michael Chandler he appeared at WWE, and then I know I have some bookmarks here. I don't think I have. Shit. So he tweeted that he signed with the WWE. He tweeted a picture of him and Triple H and says contract signed. That came lieu of him being shown what people are saying was a lot on camera at last week's UFC event. I don't know. I don't watch. And I didn't go back and watch a whole fucking WWE event to find out, if I'm being honest. But people who do watch say that he was pretty predominantly shown, or I shouldn't say predominantly, but he was frequently shown and got a lot of camera time. And then after all of that was over, he went ahead and one of the, I don't know who she is, guys. I'm sorry. I try to have all my info together, but I don't watch WWE. So the woman there who does the color commentary, I guess, with the mic, decided to carry a mic over to Michael Chandler and let him grab the mic. I don't know if it was scripted because the WWE is really scripted, or if he just got to go off the top of his head, but this is what Mike had to say.
You are now in the presence of the most entertaining UFC fighter on the planet. Okay. Hey, now there's a man from Ireland that's been making me wait for way too long. And I still got one dude on my mind. Conor McGregor, get your candy ass back to the octagon. We got some unfinished business, boys. God bless. I'll see you at the top.
Michael Chandler is wasting his career.
Yo, he was built for the WWE, man. I'm telling you. Like that promo itself could have used a little bit of work, but you could still see like it when you hear that, right? It's one of those things where it's like it needs work, but you can hear like the stardom behind it at the same time. You're like, oh, we could work with this for sure.
Yeah, Mike's got some experience hyping the crowd up and everything. I need Mike to move on. I need Mike to fight somebody, man.
But that's what I'm saying. He's not going. I think he realizes, dude, this is his plan. He's fighting Conor and he's bouncing. This is his last fight. He wants the biggest payday that he can possibly get
He's not
before he
getting the Conor
retires.
fight.
I know,
He's
but
not
he
getting
thinks
the.
he still can get it.
Yeah, I want to see Mike get 2 more fights. Like the bitch is, you realize that no matter what people think or he thinks, he could just have fought 2 or 3 times and already made his Conor McGregor money.
But then he would have got knocked out by somebody.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to fight 2 or 3 more times. Exactly.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, before his age ran out, he could have just got the money. He could have just got the dough. Mike's getting old quick. Like, there just comes that age, bro. And yeah, there just comes that fucking age. Connor J and then Zabets.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Joe. The problem, like, he probably could have had 2 or 3 fights, and people were saying like he could maybe still have fights, but he's like I think he's like 39 now, isn't he? Or is he? Am I wrong on that? How old is Michael?
He's
Chandler?
not that old. He's like 36, 37, I think.
Okay,
But he's still up there.
But the longer age is not on his side, especially at lightweight. If he does want to fight some other dudes, it's just not going to be. He's not going to get. He might not get the win money. You know what I'm saying? I also just don't think that like the Conor. It seems like he's very at odds with the UFC right now. It doesn't. It's so up in the air on when he's going to fight next. Gambling on that he will fight again and that he's going to choose you to be his opponent. It's just kind of. It's a big risk. I think. I agree with Joe. He might not have beat these guys. These 1 or 2 fights he could have had in between, but if he didn't, like, he hasn't taken those fights, and if he takes them now, who knows if he's going to beat them? Like, the landscape of the division's changing. It's just, he's in a tough spot. I know he wants that big money fight, but man, he's persistent. That's for sure.
I just think he's going for broke. It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, he's taking a pretty big risk, but that's how you become successful is by taking really big risks. I don't blame him. I'm not saying I agree with him either. I'm just saying I don't blame his thinking.
Why would Conor fight him though? Like, other than the Ultimate Fighter, like, why would when Conor comes back he would fight Chandler? Like, he has so many options.
Because Chandler's popular. He became a fan favorite pretty quickly.
But the problem is like Conor could fight anybody.
Well,
What's
here's the thing,
bigger?
though. Conor's
What's
not fighting
bigger?
him.
What's bigger, Connor versus Mike or Connor versus Leon? What's bigger, Andrew?
In my opinion, oh well, he's a champion. It's a little bit different.
No, because Connor could give that fight tomorrow. So Connor versus Leon or Connor versus Mike, which one is bigger?
Probably Leon because of the title.
Okay, Connor versus Mike or Connor versus Islam, because he could get that fight tomorrow.
Bro, you're talking champions.
It doesn't, but he could get those fights tomorrow. Connor could make the
Or Connor
call
versus Dustin
and
again.
get those.
What about Connor versus Dustin?
He could make that call and get that fight tomorrow.
Okay,
So
so let me ask you then. Let me flip that back to you. Does he beat Leon? Does he beat Islam?
he
No,
doesn't beat
he
Mike,
fucking
maybe.
doesn't.
He maybe doesn't beat Mike. Why do you think Dana won't let him fight him yet? He needs Connor to win so that he can juice him one more time.
Exactly, and I think Mike is the most winnable of those three.
Yeah, but I
Dude, if he
agree.
fights
Connor
Islam,
thinks he
he's
could beat
getting
anybody, though.
starched. Like, that's not even close. They would never book that shit. And then with Leon, yeah, he's going to get pieced up from range. He can't fucking handle Leon. That's what I'm saying. Mike, he can at least catch him. Mike will slow down as the fight goes. Like, I think that's a much more winnable fight.
Yeah, but when he fights Michael Chandler and loses, he's washed up. When he fights a champion and loses, I tempted greatness one more time. Blah, whatever the fuck he says, and his fans keep riding for him, and they'll be going, when you attempt greatness, they'll be on Twitter in these spaces. Someone will be like, he attempted to be great. No, you fucking failed at something,
Bro,
fucker.
even if he lost to a champion, his stardom's gone, bro. It
I'll
doesn't.
be
If he
honest.
loses, I don't care if who he loses to. If he loses to anybody, people are going to be like, all right, he's not that guy anymore. Dana's going to be like, all right, he's not that guy anymore. I can't fucking keep selling him when he can't win a fight.
So if I'm being honest and I had to make a guess, Dana White, TKO and Endeavor, put Michael Chandler at that WWE card to try and build him some popularity, because the UFC's demographics probably showed that Conor is on his way down. And there's probably not anybody in the UFC that the way they stand right now, besides Islam, which isn't actually going to happen, that Conor could just automatically sell 1 million pay-per-views with. I would be surprised if Conor and Mike breaks 1 million pay-per-views. So if the UFC can use the WWE as a tool to gain Mike some traction, if we see Mike at a couple of WWE events, it's not by chance, it's by design, because they need to build his following so they can build people who will want to buy that pay-per-view, because Conor McGregor is still cool as fuck to the WWE fan, but you need his opponent to be cool as fuck to them too. Um, yeah, it might sound like a little bit of conspiracy, whatever, but I really wholeheartedly believe that. Zabets, go ahead.
I agree with a lot of what both you guys had to say about the Connor thing. And my thing is, I'm kind of sick and tired of this mofo. This dude, I don't honestly don't think he's gonna fight for the next like 3 years or something, and he's just like toying with the UFC.
Yup.
Yeah,
He's using the UFC right now to fucking milk every last marketing shit he can so we can move on.
yeah, I'm so sick of it. I don't even want to deal with Ilya because he brought Conor up. Yeah, I just don't. Andrew, were you done with fight announcements?
Oh, yeah.
Antonio Bigfoot Silva is fighting El Guapo one. UFC 285 John Jones versus Surreal Gon fight by accidentally putting it on their banner. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
All right. So if you go to UFC.com and you go to upcoming events and you go to the date June 22nd, you will see TBD versus TBD. No names, but then at the bottom of that, you will see that it says it is happening on June 22nd in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, at the Kingdom Arena. The Kingdom Arena is kind of what fucked this up. If you go to the Kingdom Arena's website right now and you click on tickets and you scroll all the way to the bottom, they have a UFC event listed for June 23rd at 8 p.m., which would line up with the American time, June 22nd at whatever time it's listed at. I did all the math earlier and I didn't note it like an ass. And it shows Israel Adesanya versus Hamzat Chimaev as the main event. So,
And then he came out today on social media and said that anyone who believes the media is a bunch of fucking idiots.
yeah, I mean, that's great and all, but the media didn't say that. The Kingdom Arena posted tickets for sale on their website for that fight for June 22nd.
But does that website specifically say those two fighters?
Yes, that's what I am telling you. If you go to their website and click tickets and scroll down to June 22nd,
What's it called? What's the website again?
Kingdom Arena's website. It's Kingdom Arena in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. If you go to their website and you click tickets and you go to June 22nd, it says Israel Adesanya versus Hamzat Chimaev. Oh, June 23rd is because they're ahead of the U.S. So it's June 23rd, I believe, at 8 p.m. So.
Oh shit, it does.
Yeah,
I
I
spelled
know.
his name wrong.
No, over there, I believe that's how they would spell it. I think there's other things involved with why his name would be spelled that way in that region.
That's awesome. You don't misspell someone's name. I don't care where you are.
Okay. So, yeah, regardless, it's not the media. The arena posted fucking tickets. So
yeah, I'm looking at it right now. You're not bullshitting.
I know I'm not bullshit. I wouldn't come in here and bullshit you. So what I'm saying is that's not really the media giving some bullshit. It looks like Kingdom Arena fucked up and leaked the fucking main event of that card. I mean, that's just what it looks like. And if they're not getting Islam, they're getting Chimaev for sure. And I would still be surprised. Because that is not a pay-per-view, that is the main event that makes perfect sense. When I thought that Saudi Arabia may get a pay-per-view, I was determined that it would be Islam. I now think Islam is Abu Dhabi because Islam is going to be a pay-per-view draw. So I believe that is accurate, and I believe that fight is scheduled to happen or in the works or promised to Saudi Arabia.
Holy shit, dude. This stadium has a seating capacity of 30,000 to 40,000.
Yeah. And
that's insane.
And do you think that they're going to sell that out for a fight that's not fucking happening?
Dude, so the average stadium that the UFC uses in America is like 20,000 seats.
That's why I said, bro, the fact that they want to put Ilya in an 80,000 seat arena, like how big of a star is that fucking guy?
I mean, I would believe it in a country like that where he's the only notoriously known fighter. You know what I mean? Dude, that's the thing, man. Other countries have a lot more pride in their people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, to be a patriot here is considered, a problem. We'll just skip it, but it's considered to be a problem if you're a patriot here. So
yeah,
patriotism is frowned on now. I don't get it.
Plus it's not even. It's like Americans more so don't rep their country. They kind of rep their city or their state. You know what I mean? Like, I'm more prone to rep Vegas than I am like the USA as a whole.
No, people as a whole make fun of people who say America, but those are patriotic people. So it is what it is,
it just is what it is. We make fun of those people, but in reality, they're patriots. Yeah, it is what it is. Damn, I fucking ate some ashes on that fucking hit. Anyways, I don't really do roster watch anymore. I can't figure out what the fuck they got going on. There's 2 pages, 1 website. The profiles change. You can't fucking. They respond to you and then they ignore you. But from Ilya Topuria, his brother Alexander Topuria was signed to the UFC and will one day be a UFC champion. He is currently 5-1 at 145. I guess he's gonna beat his brother up. I don't know. Whatever. I'm just being a dick. Whatever. All right. So that's all we have. Announcements have been done. We're not gonna run more than 30 minutes here, so I'll cook through a few of these just to throw some shit out there, and then we've got some talking points. So Eugene Behrman says that Israel is ready to fight. And the question was going to be with UFC 300 out of the picture, when and where, but that kind of got squashed by that fight seeming to be leaked. I'm not going to sit here and debate. Yeah, that just, I mean, I don't think that's fake. The ESPN has pulled the plug on the DC and RC show. So
Yeah, that's because RC's ESPN contract expired.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why they were finding replacements for that show.
No, DC's got let go.
What?
Yeah, the show is it's pulled. That he's only doing 1 episode with Chael.
Oh.
And I don't even think it's going to be on ESPN. I think it's just going to be on Daniel's YouTube.
Oh.
Yeah, they pulled the plug on the whole fucking deal, is my understanding. So, well, knowing that RC's contract expired changes some things for me because I did not know that, and I did dig into it a little bit earlier. But anyways, I'm still going to go on with it a little bit. I will go on to say I think that the fact that DC is a real homer, and
Yeah.
consistent talks about things like Conor McGregor, Conor versus Islam, Conor versus at 165, Conor versus this, Conor versus that. Amanda Nunes has to come back. Like, he still lives in his 2015-16 generation, and people just don't want to fucking hear it. Like, I don't want to fucking hear it. And I had thought of several things. Like, yeah, well, I guess this makes sense. And Ryan Clark has become quite critical of fighters in the approach of saying, I respect fighters. Okay, but just because you say you respect fighters doesn't mean you're being respectful to fighters at all. And then the MMA Guru posted a theory. I didn't know the contract expired, but I'm going to share this anyway because I still found
Joe,
it
I just
pretty.
posted the tweet that he wrote like 6 days ago.
Where'd you post it? To the top?
Yeah, you can read it. Or you want me to read it? I'll read it.
No, I got it. Yeah, go ahead.
He said, and this was 6 days ago. 3 years ago, I signed an extension with ESPN. I was so grateful for more time. I excited to prove I was worth more, felt I deserved more. We disagreed, and that's okay. I set out on a mission to leave no doubt, end all conversations about who I was in the business. I added the pivot. Can't wait for our second season of Inside the NFL. I knew it would take effort. I knew that effort didn't promise results, but I dug in. Here we are now. The season is over. The deal is up. Time to make a decision. Either way it goes, the mission don't change. I want to be the best doing it. Everyone should. I'm more motivated today than I ever have been. Undrafted free agent.
Okay. Well,
I don't believe that Ryan Clark is the type of guy to lie. I just think it would be below his character. So I'm going to believe that. MMA Guru hypothesized that is because Ryan was talking shit about the UFC. I would say it was happening on a pretty consistent basis, to the point where he was almost like laughing. And DC would sit there and laugh. And Guru's tweet says he finds it interesting that the week before the show was canceled, Ryan Clark was dogging out the women's bantamweight division while DC was laughing. I will say I am a watcher, and a lot of people are like, "Why do you watch that crap?" And I get it because it's such a homer and a guy who puts himself on such a pedestal. So it is a little bit slanted, but I like DC on the mic. I don't know. I like DC, so I usually tune in. And to be honest, it's usually the very last thing I watch before we come in the space. I come out to my area and I get everything set up. And usually I'll kick on the YouTube, and the DCRC show has just posted. So I just happened to watch it, or it happened to become something I did on a regular basis. So I do watch it all the time. And anyways, I do think that Ryan Clark was getting a little out of pocket. And when this scene happened 2 or 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, I felt awkward watching it. Like, are they really fucking doing this? So here's them talking, RC talking about the 135-pound division in one of the last DC and RC shows. To London. I think that was the time that I felt. Oh, I apologize, guys. That's the wrong clip. That was going into guru shit. Look at me, Mr. fucking amateur over here. All right, I have the right clip, though, so. And here's my statement. There's no way, after watching Raquel Pennington win that championship, you can't find a way to make it worth it for Amanda Nunes. I respect all fighters, DC, and I love the fact that they have to grind to get where they were. That was an awful fight to watch. It looked like a fight of people. You can hear me under my breath. Here it goes. It looked like a fight between two people who got a game plan, and as they were walking to the octagon, they say, F the game plan, I'm going to do whatever the hell I want to do. It seemed like two people who knew good and dang well it's no way they should be fighting for a championship. And if that is what's going to be the highest level of the bantamweight division for the UFC, there should be a serious discussion of getting rid of it. And here's so
what did he say that was wrong? Because he was like 100% spot on, and he said the same shit that we all said in here after that fight happened.
We're not paid a couple $100,000 a piece to sit on a TV screen and discuss the UFC and make them look good by the company who pays billions of dollars for the TV rights so that they can sell pay-per-views as you sit there and bag out the pay-per-views that they sell. If
He's
you were
being
getting
honest.
paid, if they were paying us, yeah, but he could have just skipped it. We all feel that way. He could have just skipped it. People are supposed to be tuning into you as an official dude with the UFC sign behind you, working for ESPN, company man. And, I felt like it was very awkward watching him do it on the ESPN platform. Like, dude, is this really fucking going on? Like, I was surprised. Connor J, go ahead.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Andrew. I know where Joe's coming from. Like it's not like what he said, it's like how he said it. He wasn't giving like real criticism. He was just kind of shitting on them, but I don't agree going into the fight that those two aren't championship level fighters. I think they're good fighters, but the product that they put on, like it was not a good fight. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, he didn't go about it in like a a way that makes the UFC look good or look ESPN or makes ESPN look good because he said scrap the whole division. Basically said they
And
sucked.
the
Fight was
ESPN
horrible.
deal is almost up.
Yeah, like he just didn't do it in the right way. If he would have said like I don't know, but like Andrew's right, like the fight wasn't good, and we can come on here and say that, but he can say it in like a different way, maybe make it look and sound better. But
I felt he was professional about
I
it,
don't think he
though.
should
I
have.
felt the way he explained it was extremely professional. It's just harsh.
I don't know.
It's
Saying that
just
like
a
you should
harsh
just scrap
truth
the
that
division, get rid of
nobody
it. It's
wants
kind of
to hear.
crazy.
And
I
I
So
don't.
understand
because
I
where
there's
don't
a
Joe's
either
coming
think you
lull,
from.
should get rid of the
so
I
division.
because
totally,
there's a lull in talent, they should cancel the division?
yeah. I think it's
No.
worth a discussion.
So heavyweight should be canceled too?
No,
As
you
soon
can't
as
cancel.
John Jones retires?
You can't cancel heavyweights
Why not?
because they're big dudes that knock each other out. You need that division.
Let's be honest, most
The
heavyweight fights do not.
product that heavyweight fights put on, you could probably beg to
Yeah,
differ.
yeah. Like I would bet that more UFC heavyweight fights end by decision than knockout in 2023, 2022, 2021.
Maybe, but if you compare them to the amount of finishes in women's bantamweight, sure, it's not comparable.
I bet.
Yeah, but they're the biggest guys
That's my
though. Like
point.
those
They're
are
not going
heavyweight
anywhere.
fights. Like they should be. Yeah, but they should be
Yeah,
knocking each
their
other out a
job
lot
is to
more.
knock
They
each
have
other
so
out.
much more
Which
power.
is why they are not going anywhere.
But that doesn't mean that heavyweight. Like Joe's right that a lot of heavyweight fights aren't great either because they're not. They don't take a lot of technique to be like really good fighters or as good as technique as like lower weight
And
fighters.
that's fine. But people like knockouts.
All right, so
And they don't make a lot of knockouts.
we're opposed. Connor out of the question. Does he fight in 2024? Scratch it or better. We're done talking about him. Bros, I'm about to comment. Did any of you guys see the fucking PFL belt? The PFL Bellator belt? Did you see it? Oh
It's
my
pretty lame.
Oh my, it's the ugliest fucking belt I've ever seen. I'm like, no, why the fuck did they make that? Just stick with what you have. So this is MMA Junkies in the comments, guys. Someone pin it. It still will not let me pin. It's like every other week I can. But if you check the comments, I shared MMA Junkies post. You don't have to click the article. You can't see the belt in the picture. It doesn't matter if you go to the article, you still can't see the belt in the picture real good. But when you zoom in, what you can see is the ugliest fucking shit. That's dumb. It really does look like one of the WWE belts. I don't know which one because I don't watch it, but I feel like it looks like a belt that's normally silver. I'm not even.
I'll Google it.
That shit don't even look like a WWE belt. It looks like a fucking like B
Bro, it looks
brand
like the
wrestling
woman's
belt.
belt. Tell me it don't look like the woman's belt if it was silver with a purple strap.
It looks like
Tell
some
me.
fan made belt you get from like winning your fucking fantasy football contest. That shit looks like horrible.
Knock off ass one belt. Like, what the fuck are they doing? So that also means that it's some bullshit cross promotion championship and they're not. Or eventually that just becomes the PFL belt as they eliminate Bellator and go against everything Don Davis said and become a non-seasonal promotion anyways. Man, if Don cons you and they don't do the seasons anymore, I told you
I
motherfuckers, he's a con man. Everything he says is full of shit. He wants to be Dana White so bad. He sits at home and fucking thinks about oiling him up. Fucking Connor J, go ahead.
Yeah, that belt. It's not the prettiest. I'm pretty sure. I just looked up just to remind myself the PFL like the regular championship, and that's like not a bad looking belt. You know, it kind of looks like an old the UFC belts back in the day before they changed to like the ones they have now. So that one's like not bad looking. I'm pretty sure I just looked. This Bellator versus PFL belt they have, it has the word champs in it. It's like PFL versus Bellator champs, like on the belt. Like I don't know why it just looks so weird. It's a goofy looking belt. It's mad weird.
Yeah, I don't like it at all. Daniel, go ahead.
It it actually resembles how WWE World Heavyweight Champion belt looked like. But as for MMA, yeah, it's goofy. Not even not it reminds you of Zack Ryder's internet belt. The belt was literally his hair, his face with his shades on it, with literally all the social media
I've
logos on it. So this is a wow.
I've seen it.
I hate it. I hate it. Like if I were to win a fight, I would be like, yeah, I don't feel like a winner. I just knocked out this guy. I do not feel like a winner with this belt around my waist. I'm sorry, y'all. It's
All
terrible.
right. So Sean Strickland's catching a lot of flack for not fucking KOing Sneeko. I don't think he was trying. I think he was just trying to beat him up, and there is a difference. There's a huge difference. He was hitting him a lot in the shoulders and shit. Like
He
he
deserved
was
it.
just trying to beat him up, and Nate Diaz beat him up and then tapped him.
Really? I need to look that
Yeah, he
up.
did it this week. So from there, I have John Jones was seen. Man, listen, John Jones is. This could be the greatest training camp we've ever seen of John Jones, because if you know John Jones's history, if you know his history, boy, he likes to party before he fucking knocks somebody out. Man, so he's been spotted at drunk at comedy clubs, and now I think this is a rave. I don't know what that is. Is that a rave? What the fuck is he doing? He's like double hand pumping the drone or something, the drone camera. He whatever. It's in the comments, guys. Yeah, whatever the fuck he's doing there. But it looks like he's living his best cocaine life, and he's gonna fuck somebody up. It's coming.
Bro,
Like
this
it.
guy dismantled Daniel Cormier a week after doing cocaine, man. Jesus, I'm excited for this.
That's
We
what I'm
we
saying,
might see a whole new John Jones at 35, bro.
bros.
What if
I'm saying.
what if this
Um,
is Jones like taking a step down from his partying? Like, all right, hear me out. What if he partied way harder before in the past, and this is just him like going down? You know, like this is him taming it down. Like, would this still be detrimental? Like, would it still be good for him?
you could look at it as he's celebrating that he didn't just hit a pregnant lady with his car. You could put all types of positive twists on this. I'm just saying. You could. There's lots of good from this. All right, so that one I was clowning a little bit. Cain Velasquez update: attempted murder trial delayed yet again as attorneys broach potential plea deal. We've covered that a lot. That's just an update. We don't really need to get into it. When something actually goes down, we'll get into it.
He'd be smart
So
to take a plea deal.
oh he better.
He'd
He
be
better.
Time
smart.
served. Free Cain Velasquez. He's out there doing God's work. Let the
No
man
way
live.
he walks, man. Sorry. No way. You shot the wrong fucking guy.
Yeah,
Yeah, he shot
there's
him, but
no
what was the
chance of
injury?
walking.
What
A
was the
guy that
injuries
was
for the?
harboring a pedophile. A guy that was harboring a pedophile. Come on now. There's got to
But
be somebody
Bro, you
with.
don't understand. You gotta understand how the law works, bro. You can't just when you do something as reckless as that, and you shoot the wrong person. Yeah, you don't just get a get out of jail free card for that, bro.
You got to
Man,
get the
I'll
right
tell you how
jury.
how the fucking world works. That pedophile's out on the street, man. That's how the world works, man. That's what's
Yeah, but
yep.
we're
fucked.
not talking about the
And
world. We're talking about
that's
the
what
courtroom.
Kane that's why Kane did what he did. That dude was gonna
Yeah,
take
but he
he was gonna be
shot the
walking the
wrong
street.
guy.
I understand that. I understand
Kane
that.
would have gotten time if he shot the right guy, let alone the wrong guy. He's gonna
Exactly.
What
He's
state
gonna.
was this? Was this
I
in New Mexico? What state did this
I hope
happen?
he doesn't. I mean, I hope he
California,
takes a
bro.
plea
He's
and
gonna go away for
goes to
Yeah,
life.
that
California.
liberal ass fucking
The
state.
one,
He's
yeah,
over.
the
He's
state where
done.
they ban guns pretty much. Like, come on, bro.
Yeah,
They
he's got to
hate guns
claim
in California.
CTE, post traumatic stress, fucking.
Listen, guns are outlawed. Listen, I'm not fucking around. In California, guns are outlawed. And if someone breaks in your car in front of you and you defend your property, you go to fucking jail.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's,
Is it what's stricter? New York is the strictest, right? What's LA like? Is it a little bit
I don't know, bro.
relaxed
Like,
or?
listen, the rest of us don't claim New York and we don't claim California. We claim
No,
each
so
other.
in New York, you can have a gun. I just don't think you can have it in public. Like, you can have it at home. But in California, you can't even have one at home, bro.
Yeah, California's fucked up. That's a whole
Oh,
nother
okay.
space.
All right. All right.
That's a whole nother space. All right. So there's a new UFC movie coming out called Strawweight. Whatever, man. I think it did anybody watch Fight Valley?
Was it the Halle Berry one? Or I'm not sure if it's Halle
Nah.
Berry. Is that lesbian flick or some shit?
Nobody seen Fight Valley.
I saw the one with Halle Berry. It was nice.
Bro, I thought this was a room full of hardcores.
Is the one with Halle Berry Fight Valley?
No, that's some dumbass movie. Fight Valley is the one starring Misha Tate and Holly Holm and Chris Cyborg and
Oh,
shit.
that one. Yeah, I won the poster in a contest. It was an okay, like it was passable, but not like Rocky Balboa or the one with Mark Wahlberg, who was a.
Yeah, it wasn't a good movie. I get it. I'm just saying Strawweight has the same vibes. Like I'm not recommending that we'll need to watch either one of them.
No, I mean,
Um,
who expected the lesbianism on that? I didn't. Did you?
Daniel, I watched the trailer. I didn't tune into that. I just know
I
what
didn't
it is
see the
because I'm
trailer. I saw the
hardcore.
movie.
Yeah, well, you should have watched the trailer first, and then you would have known not to watch the movie. That's why they make trailers, so you can be
Well, I
like,
was
"Yep,
young and
I'm
stupid back
watching this
then.
shit."
I was stupid back then. I was young and stupid.
No, you're not stupid. I'm just trying to help you out so you don't make that mistake again.
Yes, I was
Tom
young and stupid.
Aspinall. Tom Aspinall says DC in his prime would have been his toughest matchup ever. Does Tom
Yes,
know that John Jones beat DC's ass twice while DC was in his prime? Does he know about that?
probably not.
I He's young. He's young. He might not know about that. He is young, so I don't know. I'm teasing it. Like, I'm having fun with it because I don't want to really stop there. Brian T. City Ortega recently commented that he underwent multiple surgeries, not limited to just his shoulder, and he will talk about that later. And admits that he questioned whether or not fighting is worth it at all. Fade that man.
Yeah.
Fade that man if you are a better. I am sorry. Those are the telltale signs.
I was just gonna say Brian's cooked, isn't he?
Yeah. Islam Makhachev's coach revealed that there are double champ plans in the works. So, yep, there's that. And then PFL announced that they are doing a show in Vegas the day before UFC 300. Good. Finally. These fucking guys have been so dumb. Major UFC events in Vegas and UFC Fight Week. Why has Bellator not put on a Friday card or a Thursday card every year for 10 years? What the fuck is wrong with them morons? Why does the UFC have the Expo Center filled with their fighters? Listen, let me tell you how the Expo Center works in Vegas, bro. It is literally miles long. If you go to the SEMA show, which I believe is the only show that fills the whole thing, they say that it is impossible to walk the entire thing and even stand at everything for like 2 minutes or 60 seconds or some shit in one day. It's fucking miles and miles of shit to walk. You're driving your car and you're like, damn, what's this big ass building that I've been driving in front of for like ever? That's the Expo Center. It has a South Hall, a North Hall, all types of crazy shit. It's fucking massive. None of these guys have been like, so who's in the stall right next to them? Not one of these fucking guys have been smart enough to put all of their fighters right next to the UFC fighters for free. None of them have. I think it's a great move by PFL. I think they should do the same thing at International Fight Week. I think they should have a Bellator and a PFL thing set up where you can go meet all their fighters, and it should be totally free to the public. I think that you shouldn't have, I don't think they should do any VIP packages. I think they should just make it equal for all. And I bet you by the second or third year, they are absolutely killing it and changing the way the UFC has to do Fight Week. Right now, you can pay $650 for a VIP ticket to Fight Week, and that VIP ticket will get you in a line so long that you still can't meet fighters.
Dude, it was bad last year, bro.
So me and my buddy were one of like probably 20 people who bought it the first year. We walked right to the front. People were watching like, how the fuck are you doing that? And we're like, VIP, baby. You know, we should have been like, oh, Dana's our uncle and not told fucking anybody. Because this past year, dude, you didn't get to beat Bobby Green if you weren't VIP and one of the first half of VIP in line. Like, it was insane. So, like, hats off to them for me. I hope they super step it up. That is a real path to victory because being on TV is not enough. If you get fans to meet you and your events are awesome, and this might sound so dumb, guys, but the women fighters are out there and they're being warming to children. I know that sounds dumb, but it's something that was big for the UFC. Like, if you can pull all of that off with the fans in front of you, then people will tune in. People don't realize the UFC did years of, they weren't fight weeks yet, and even when fight week came around, bro, they did years of tent promotions, years of, you know, come meet us and bring your wife and your kids and your buddy and your brother and all of that. And a lot of these guys were kind of organically grown back then. Bellator needs to be sure to try and mimic that. PFL, whoever the fuck they are. Because the method they're using now is just not gonna work. So held a press release. Oh, the UFC is going to hold 3 events a year at the Honda Center in Anaheim, in California, every year through 2028, and the WWE will do the same thing. These events can be either pay-per-view or regular fight night cards. WWE is following suit, like I said. I think that's just TKO simplifying their life. We can negotiate more with less people, use the best contacts from both companies, help them help each other. Ariel Helwani is, so Nina Drama. We got 1 minute here, and I got 2 topics left, and I want to hit them both. So Nina Drama is constantly getting hit by the media, and now it's becoming bigger and bigger and bigger media that is doing it to her, and they always have something to say to her, or they always have something to say about her. Brendan Schaub did start shit with her. Helen Yee did start shit with her. She really does just defend herself. I don't even really care for her, but like, I follow all these headlines and all this bullshit, and like, Nina's really just, you might not like the way she's gotten there, but she wasn't really fucking with anybody about it, and she was just doing it on her own. That's the John Jones video. So finally, Ariel Helwani decided he would weigh in, and he would say something quick. To me, it's got a ton of fucking undertones, and I think he's being way shittier than he's letting it come off. But this is what he had to say. Can I tell you my thoughts? To clip this from someone else's video, so you'll hear a little bit of music start and shit. But I just could not find the appropriate timing on YouTube in the MMA hour. So I just clipped somebody else's shit who clipped somebody else's shit who had 3 people on the screen. So fuck them. Can I tell you my thoughts on Nina coming in and doing things differently? It's whatever is great. Breath of fresh air. It's different. Why though do you have to shit on the rest
of the media. Do your thing. Be different. Be proud. Put out the good content. This whole make MMA media great again, waxing poetic, you're relatively new here. Can I tell you my thoughts?
So I feel like he said initially he comes out the gate and the first thing he's got to say about it is where like he pretends to pay her a comment and he says, be different, whatever, that's great, breath of fresh air. He doesn't really give her a comment. He's just trying to brush her off like he did. And then he goes on and he has to mention the stay in your lane, you're new to this basically, and then has to mention the make media or make MMA media great again. He's specifically trying to like low key villainize her to a certain audience, so that he looks good and that she looks like shit. Ariel takes these super low key subliminal jabs at a lot of fucking people. Um, and it's like nonstop now. I do tune in some, but not as much as you would think. This one was actually bad enough that I seen it kind of going around being viral that people are, this isn't, I'm not the only person who feels the way that I feel. I didn't steal anybody's thought, but somebody else just kind of said, is he poking at her? Is he taking shots at her indirectly? And like, I think he is. And I think no matter what Ariel says, he is an influencer as much as he is media as far as MMA is concerned. And he does want her clicks and he does want her smoke. You want to know who doesn't care about Nina Drama? John Morgan, our buddy Cade Morehouse, Kevin Iole. They don't give a fuck about Nina Drama because they're journalists. They don't give a shit what she's doing. Who cares what influencers are doing? Influencers, people who depend on influence. So Ariel's trying to sneak diss her and look good to the people he influences. Um, I don't know. That's just how I feel and how I seen it. Connor J, you had your hand up for a minute and I rambled. Go ahead, bud.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I agree that I don't think that she's. I just don't think that she is a journalist. I don't even know if she tries to be a journalist. She is an influencer. I kind of agree that Ariel kind of is also an influencer, at least in this MMA. Um. So I guess I would understand why he gets kind of upset that she occupies the same orbit that she does. But like people like you mentioned, John Morgan, Cade, so on and so forth, just kind of need to realize like she's not like them. Like she doesn't really affect their job. I don't think she affects Ariel's job. Ariel is the biggest media member in the game. Nothing that she's going to do is going to affect him. I don't think that
Yeah,
she just
yeah,
does her
but
own
that's
thing. I
my
feel like
point,
it's not
Connor.
her content's not for me
What
though.
makes Ariel media? He can't get credentials. So what makes it media?
He can't or he doesn't want
I don't
to.
think he can.
I think he can. I think he said he can. I think he just chooses not to.
Maybe he.
No, for the
I think the
UFC,
way he goes about it, like him
he's
having the
not
show
allowed
and
to cover
whatnot,
the
it kind of seems like
UFC
he's
Yeah,
live.
his credentials have been taken away. He can purchase a ticket and pay and go
And
watch
he
like
has
everyone
done
else. So
that. And I
yeah,
have heard him say, I am not banned from events. I went
yeah,
to an event.
he's
I've heard him
that's
say
exactly
that.
right. He's not
Yeah.
going to get a free pass. He can't go backstage and get live interviews backstage. He lost all that. So he's just the fighter interview guy and the breaking news guy. That's kind of all he's doing now. And now that he's really he's not in
So
cahoots with Ali Abdelaziz, he really lost a lot of his breaking news.
He's
He was
literally
getting
not
fed
allowed
by
to.
Ali.
He's he's part of he's part of fighting in a sense, but he can't really be a part of fighting. If you get what I'm saying, like that's why he doesn't like they post his shit and everything like that, but he's not a part of fighting in quotes because they're so big time with the UFC that like if that would kind of like what is it, a conflict of interest? I don't know what's the right word for that. Like anyways, he can't really he was a part of MMA fighting, but now he is still with them in a sense, and he still has a great relationship with them. But he kind of does his own thing, and they just post his shit on YouTube and stuff like that because they don't want their credentials to get taken away.
Yeah, he is their draw because he is an influencer. He is an influencer. He is not media. He interviews fighters just like Nina Drama, and he gives his opinions on events. He is no different than Nina Drama at this point in his career, except for that he has established a show and a structure and a following and a fan base that he agrees with. Um, but he's no fucking different than she is at this
I'll
point,
be
whether he likes
honest
it or
though,
not.
this is where the media game is going though. Like journalism will always be around, of course. Nobody's ever gonna just stop writing completely, but you're starting to see where a lot of these MMA media guys, and it honestly, to be honest with you, I feel like it started with the schmo. They're starting to do more video and influencing and stuff, and that's what media is. The reason I don't, no, I shouldn't say it like this, but the reason I don't pay too much attention into Nina and stuff like that is because I'll just put it like this: like, one day I'm trying to get out of this media space. I'm going to school right now. I take 5 classes a semester. I'm trying to go get my degree, and I'm trying to get into PR. That's my ultimate goal out of all this media stuff. This media stuff for me is about creating relationships with fighters, creating relationships with people within the organizations, creating relationships with other PR members, creating relationships with guys from ESPN or guys from top journalists, so that one day when I get into PR, I've already had these relationships and I'm a step ahead of everybody. And who knows, man? Like one day, and I'm not saying I will or I won't, but like one day, who knows, man? Like if I ever get in with the UFC or something like that, guess who's going to be working with me? She's hired by the UFC, Nina. If you have to get along with these people, and who gives a fuck that she's new to the space? I've been watching MMA my whole life, but guess what? I've only been doing media for the last 2 years, so
So
I'm new to the fucking space.
here's where everything falls apart for these guys. You see, they have transcended sorry, transcended into MMA media from MMA journalists and the MMA news. They became the MMA media because there was no media presence. Media meaning people that are just there to get the scoop, talk to the people that were there, get people to watch, and move the fuck on to the next thing and not give a flying fuck about what's behind them. They got to be that guy and the journalist at the press conference, the journalist at the post fight, the journalist in the backstage. These guys got to be all of that, right? Well, it's 2024. Things have changed. Children have grown up in social media, grown up in it at this point. Nina Drama is about the age, right? Someone like Nina Drama comes along who is a social media influencer and gets a gig with the UFC, and all of a sudden she's fucking villainized. When in reality, she came in to be a media influencer, not a villain. But like, bro, she just came in to do what she was already doing. If you're a journalist, if you're going to the press conferences, if you're asking the questions, if you're getting your interviews, if you're writing articles, if you're reporting this, Nina Drama is no
Can
threat
I
to you.
can I just say this real quick, Joe? I don't know how many of you guys actually pay attention to this shit, but like, did you guys watch Vanderlei Silva? I'm assuming you watched the pay per view. You saw him get inducted into the Hall of Fame, correct?
Yeah, he's going to
Did
get
you
inducted in
did
July.
you
Yep.
see the guy that he walked up to, and he's a little bit shorter, but he's got a bald head and a goatee. He was wearing a suit, but like he was with Vanderlei. Vanderlei
No,
walked up to him.
no, I didn't
Anyways,
see it, but well, tell me about it.
anyways, that's my dad's old boss. He's the one that does all the meet and greet setups for the UFC. He's the guy that does a lot of marketing. He's the guy that handles all the fighters. Like when the UFC goes, hey, we can't get a hold of so and so. Can you get a hold of him? That's his job. So anyways, he works for him. And I asked him this weekend because that's who I met down there at the Alexa Grasso meet and greet. And he was able to let me cut the line and shit. But besides the point, I asked him, are you boys with, or I was like, are you friends with Nina? And he was like, yeah, dude, Nina's tight, man. She works for us. He goes, she's really nice and sweet and everything like that. And I was like, oh, that's dope. So that should tell you right there, like, she's very liked and, everybody knows her in the UFC and, like, you know what I'm saying? So that's why every time the media attacks her and shit, Dana and, the UFC, they get pissed off and they kind of defend her and vice versa. Like, if Dana shits on a media member, she'll be right behind him. Don't worry, because 10 minutes later, it's coming for you on social media. Nina will be right behind him.
Oh
Like,
yeah, 100%, 100%. But she works for them. These guys are like comparing and talking shit about her. She works for the UFC. She is doing what she is supposed to do. J Spec, go ahead, bud.
First off, thank you for having me. What's up, Joe? How's everybody doing? First off, everybody good?
What's happening, bud? Not bad, not bad. Winding it down, winding it down.
All right, all right. Well, there's a couple of things in this that I feel I have a strong point of view of my own journey. Not the same as anybody else, but I walk through the same fields Kate walked through. I'm over 2 years of exploring my media journey, and I can tell multiple parts of this story. The first part I want to talk about is it wouldn't matter if it was Nina or anyone else. The media space, there's no money in it. And I'll tell you this wholeheartedly. There is so little money going around. Most of the media people you know of are not getting paid squat. They're getting paid compensation money to cover the events at their costs up front. They're not really getting paid. There's like a handful of actually invited to the event media personnel, but most of the people are not. You don't really get much from going to a UFC other than the same content that MMA fighting or one of the big dogs are going to be junkies going to be putting out. Beyond that, I can tell that the media space for my own self in my own way is toxic as fuck. And I'm just going to lay it out here. Yeah, I work for a great company, the All Star. I'm one of the lucky few that got paid for my stupid opinion on MMA. And the minute that happened, my DMs got blown up. People came out the woodwork. Venom got split. And I'm a fucking nobody. I'm a fucking D-level nothing. And that's what I saw. So now you take that and you magnify it to a woman. Women aren't even that welcome in this space, bro. I fucking spend so much time in my spaces or educating people on the value of women's MMA. Like, let's be honest. So then a woman is coming in and catching the scoops, and now she's getting the money. She's getting the deal. Let's be honest. Nina put in work, and I respect her to the fullest in the sense of she put in work. She didn't just give in this shit. She put in work, years of fucking getting in interviews, doing her grind, getting her shit done. All right. Beyond that, be honest with yourself. Look at every industry. I'm gonna chalk it up. I'm gonna hope some people are old school like me. I know Joe might gonna catch this reference, but the old school VMA, the VJs, not VMAs, the VJs of MTV, they got replaced and smoked by Playboy bunnies that are now icons in our post, 90s life. Jenna McCarthy and Carmen Electra are everybody knows those women because they've replaced the former media members
Yeah,
with
tell me the original disc jockey at Headbangers Ball. Nobody knows his fucking name.
nobody knows who the fuck that guy is, but everybody knows who Jen McCarthy is now.
Everybody.
Word. So you took Miss Playboy fucking 2018, I believe. I don't want to get discredit, no nothing. And here she is, beautiful as all hell, with the Playboy backing. I know Playboy's not the same powerhouse it was in the 60s, 70s, 80s, even the 90s, but it's still Playboy power.
It helps. It
If you don't,
helps.
if you don't think that shit has fucking LA connections, you're tripping. So now,
I wish that Playboy would feature some of our shit in their magazine. I
Hey,
mean,
oh
I
yeah,
tell you that.
you
Like,
heard
what the
Playboy.
fuck?
You heard us. Hit up Joe, man. Hit up Joe. So I'm trying to get to the point here. Is a beautiful lady, a woman, someone maybe changing her gears later in life. She's in her 30s and she's like, I'm gonna get out of trying to be sexy and I'm gonna try to be something else. Hey, whatever, bruh. No matter who that was, they were gonna hate. It doesn't matter if it's Nina or Tanina or Anjamima. Like it wouldn't matter. They would have hated on her no matter what. And I'm going to lastly close with the whole journalism media transition. You're right, Joe. It's a different era because the previous people in MM media were journalists. They wrote their shit, they cataloged their
That's what I'm saying. They were already journalists, and when
right.
YouTube and shit hit, they got to be the media too. They got to be both. And now they're mad that they're losing that media role, and all that's left is that journalist role. They're mad about it, bro. They're
Because
mad.
that's it. And that's the evolution of the time. They either, I hate to say it, but get with it or get lost. Like my look at my profile. It says MMA media, yeah, because I interview fighters, yeah, because that. But at the end of the day, in my bio is also content creator and interviewer, because that's more of what I am. I'm not a journalist. I don't write shit down. I don't. You know what journalism fucking takes, folks? It takes getting both sides of the same story and both parties to agree that you can run that story. You think any of these fucking stories on Twitter have that done? Absolutely fucking not. So there you go. That's why journalism is dead. Media is about advertising. Advertising is about uh, getting attention. There we go. There you go.
100% agree. Aussie, you have been so patient, bro. Get after it.
No, that was well said. Oh wait, Rob's the man. Um, he has great spaces too. If anyone's not following Rob, definitely give him a follow. Yeah, you see like Laura Sanko, Megan O'Leary, now Nina Drama. I mean, Minty's bets, she still gets a bit of flack, but I think that's more from the the gambling nerds. But yeah, I don't really have a problem with it. Like everyone that's doing well in their lane is doing really well. And this Nina Drama girl, she's kind of created her own thing. You know, she's doing, some comedy. She's trying to be silly. She's making the videos or whatever. She's not getting upset. She's kind of everyone that gets in trouble for saying something ridiculous to her, she's instigated it every time. Like she knows what she's doing. She's the only one doing it. She's doing it well, so I don't really have a problem with it. But I was going to ask Cade. We'll talk, and anyone else who wants to chime in. When we were talking about Ariel, do you think he's really still happy in this MMA space? Like he's always trying to branch out. He's trying to do some football stuff. He's trying to interview people from other sports and things like that. Do you think he's kind of thinking about making an exit and trying to get into something bigger, or do you think he's going to stick around and he's happy with his place in the sport?
Uh, you know, uh, that's a good question. I think he's happy with what he does, but I think eventually he'll branch off. I mean, Ariel does boxing too. Like he shows up to a lot of boxing events. He does, he does already do some other things. Like he's big involved with the WWE. He does a lot of stuff for like, you know, them as well. Like WrestleMania, he interviews a lot of people and stuff like that. I think honestly he's had to venture out and do some of these other things though, just because the UFC he's kind of unwelcome there.
They
So,
boxed
but
in.
but
He's
yeah,
in
I
his
mean he kind
box.
of does some other things already, but that is a good question. I honestly don't know, to be honest with you, but I think honestly with the bridges he's burned with Ali and the UFC and stuff, it definitely makes it hard because it's already hard in itself to get involved in this. And then when you burn two of the biggest bridges in MMA, I mean, I could only imagine, what that does. But yeah, he also burned some bridges with like Jamal Hill and some other people too. So I mean, he's not. He only has a few good relationships with some of the fighters that love him from back in the name. Like I know Dustin Poirier and him are pretty close, and some other people. But
Oh, and he went
yeah,
after Ali on his own show. Let's be clear.
Big
Like Ariel
time,
does
big
this to
time.
himself.
Oh
He
yeah.
does this shit to himself. He's
That's another
boxed
thing. He's
in.
trying to be the beef guy. He's trying to get. He knows with the stuff that happened with Ali, happened with Dana,
It's because he's
Rampage.
trying.
It's
That's because he's trying. He's an influencer, and he needs people
yeah,
to talk about him. He
hundred
is in a
percent.
box, bro. The UFC put him in a box. Go over there and do that. Like I'm not gonna rant on this. We went over and then went over again, and I know it's late here and getting late for Andrew. So we go over it and over it, or I won't go over it and over it. But Ariel's listen. What I want to do with Cap MMA, what I like to do, um, I want to have a show clearly what we do, an open talk forum, just fans, people who love it, people who watch it, talking about it. I see that very, very much as our path. Um, I do not attempt to make our channel a media outlet. Like, when Usman's got time, he likes to put out all the tweets and stuff. But like really we're being fans and we're trying to promote our website as a betting tool. I don't make any money off of it and I got a bunch into it. But 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18, everybody who can't be a fighter wants to be a media member. It is what it is. Everybody who loves the sport, everybody who just loves it wants to be a media member. They can't give up their job. They're not kids. They can't be at home and say, Mom, I'm going to go to all these UFC events until I can make this work and get hits on my channel and get paid for this. They're grown ass men. So they can't drop everything and go live in Vegas and fucking follow the UFC around the fucking country. They can't do it. But everybody wants to. So instead, what everybody ends up wanting to do is create a channel and interview fighters and have your interviews being more important than the other interviews, so that another guy can come out with an interview from the same fighter and make it bigger than your interview. And it really just does turn into a media war. It's not journalism. It's not MMA journalists. I fell in love with John Morgan, Ariel Helwani back in the day. Um, there's some other guys that have been around a long time that I'm just not going to shout them out because those were the two guys that back in the day really made me be like, damn, I can't move to Vegas. I can't do all that. I recognized all that. And then I always wanted to do something. And then when Twitter Spaces came along, I'm like, man, that's something I think I could do. That's like talk radio for MMA. I think I could have and run a fan base talk radio station, channel, show, whatever for MMA. And I really don't try to be anything other than that. If the guys in the group get opportunities to do other thing and we can expand or something changes, like I would never pass it up. I wouldn't. But I understand that the media game is, bro, it's so jammed, it's so full, and you can feel like you're going to do something different, but god damn it, I can't remember the name of it, but someone in our group posted a channel and they're like, damn, bro, they get a lot of fighter interviews. And this channel had like 120 fucking fighter interviews posted in like a year. It was the craziest shit you ever seen. Like, how the fuck did they get all these fighter interviews? And it was all the high level guys, low level guys. It was crazy. They had like 1,200 followers, and none of their videos got more than like a couple thousand views. Most of them got a couple hundred views. And that is not to discount anybody's work or efforts. What I'm saying is this channel was dedicated strictly to interviewing fighters, and they were interviewing more than anybody. I'll find them because we talked about them for a while. Someone will remember who they are. And their videos didn't generate enough where you could even make a living for yourself as one person um, posting those videos and collecting ad revenue. So it's flooded.
What's it called? Joe, I'm gonna hop out of here, brother. So you guys have a good night. But I'll just say this to your point real fast. I think what sets media members apart in today's day and age with how flooded it is truly the connections and relationships that you're able to build with people. Because while yes, the media field might be flooded, a lot of the media field doesn't know how to, and this is no disrespect to everyone, and I'm not throwing names in specific, but a lot of the media members and fields don't know how to keep relationships, or when you do get into that journalism part of the game and you have to play both sides of the story, you have to be very careful in how you do that, because that one guy might be happy but the other guy might be pissed. So then you start burning relationships. So you got to just be careful with every move you make. But like I said, that's one of the reasons that like I'm choosing the path of going towards the PR route and actually making a career out of something like this, because the media field is flooded. um, and it's gotten to a point where a lot of people are doing the same shit. So now it really just comes down to who you know and the relationships you have with people.
Yeah, I get it, and not everybody can get in there to do the journalism work. All right, I gotta shut it down. Aussie, I'll give you some seconds here. Cade, thanks for coming in, bro. I know you said you were leaving. Have a good night, brother.
You too, man.
Sorry, man. I know you want to bounce. I just wanted to say, yeah, everything you said is 100%. But the stuff you're doing is the future, man. Not just fighter interviews, but giving a platform for people to come and talk to fighters, man. That's crazy. That these people haven't had that. Like, if you look at these guys are our superstars, man. These MMA fighters that come in, like that's like somebody is an NBA fan getting to talk to some of their favorite NBA players. Like, this is the only sport where this shit actually happens. So keep up the good work. I know I've had a bunch of fighters on, man. Everything you're doing is great. The stuff you put out is awesome. So keep up the good work. Stuff Rob's doing as well. Daniel, I know he's studying. He gets no study done because this dude, every time I'm in a space, this dude's in a space. It's crazy. So keep up the good work, fellas, and always listen to everything you do. And yeah, keep up the good stuff. And the stuff you're doing with Cap MMA is insane. And I know you say, you don't want any money, you don't want this, you don't want that. Man, when you got that space running up to a point where you can get the method and round and all that shit, like, you were going to save people hours, man. That's going to be worth money one day. So keep up the good work, keep doing what you're doing, keep working on the space, man. Sky's the limit. And yeah, always enjoy talking to you guys. Keep up the good work.
I appreciate you, Aussie, quite a bit. All right, I'm counting down my last 100 seconds here, and then I'll let Andrew close it up if he wants to. I'll take 20 seconds and say, Rob, we want to see if we can work something with you and Cap MMA, maybe trying to co-host a pay-per-view together, because we got a good turn and you got a good turn, and we felt like it was a shame to have 50 people in our place and 35 or 50 people or whatever you had in your place, when we could have been in the same place and probably had them all in one place. We're not looking to get in on everything you do, but if we could do a couple pay-per-views with you or something, we don't want to compete against you, brother. We like you a lot over here. Everybody on their own individually likes you. So we want to try to work that out on another day. Though, last thing I got, no one's going to get to comment. You can think whatever you want to think about this. This is the big conspiracy. I hope Andrew just ends it when I'm done. CapMMA.com. Try our stuff. It's fucking free. So the UFC recently sent a strict warning to fighters about on the UFC Mexico card. FAM is the agency down in Mexico. They're part of like the International MMA Associate Federation or whatever the fuck it is, IMMAF. Um, and they're partner with ConAid, which I believe is their actual sample handling company. And they have much stricter policies than the UFC, I guess, or other boards. I don't know.
But the UFC sent a fucking strict warning that said zero presence of these medications in your system on weigh-in day and fight day, as these are banned in Mexico with no exceptions. So this means they are not banned elsewhere. And then the UFC provided a list of about 20 medications, maybe 15 there. Not only some of them seem legit, but not only did they provide the list, like it says Adderall, discontinue use 7 days before weigh-in. Um, I can't say all these names. Some of them are shit I don't even know, but like Concentra's on there. Discontinue 7 days use before 7 days before weigh-in. Morphine, discontinue 7 days before weigh-in. Oxycontin, discontinue 7 days before weigh-in. Fentanyl, discontinue 7 days before weigh-in. Meth and Suboxone, discontinue 7 days before weigh-ins. Some other shit on the narcotics list, and tramadol on the narcotics list. Discontinue them 7 days before the weigh-ins. The list. So I typed the whole list in. It's stimulants, narcotics, and I don't know what the fuck they are. Some super long ass word. I put it into GTP and asked, are any of these PEDs or steroids? And they said, while none of them are steroids, there's a handful of stimulants can be used in that type of way, in combination with pain pills that can kill the pain. I don't know. I'm not saying that they're PEDs, but what I'm saying is like, what the fuck is the new drug policy at the UFC that you're sending out? Yo, come off your oxys and your fentanyl 7 days before weigh-in.
Get all
What
your
the
meth in before the
fuck?
flights.
What the
Yeah.
fuck?
Well, do you think this
Man,
was for John Jones and someone in the head office accidentally hit send to all?
bro, I don't know, but out with USADA it is. That's all I got. Do what you want with that little fact, but fuck. It's fucking new generation of MMA around this bitch.